running. These 3-year-olds are dialed in. 4 of the 5 coming in off winning efforts, so something does have to give. Who will blink? We'll find out around 3:40 Eastern. Let's take a look at the field for the Sunday feature today at Aqueduct. 5 of them running 7/8 of a mile. The purse $100,000. The entry is favored. Hello Hot Rod in Scotch Rocks, 2 for 1, 7 to 5 in the morning line. A lot of speed. That's not how the track has been playing today, according to my co-host, as I welcome in Aqueduct's all-time leading jockey, Richie Migliori. Richie, this Jimmy WINKFIELD going in today. We'll get to the story and the history in just a moment. But the favorite here coming in, Hello Hot Rocks, how impressive have you been by what he's done in his last couple races?
Well, I think it's very impressive. And the fact that, you know, his first start, he rallied from well off the pace. And then as he stretched out, first to 7 furlongs, today's distance, and then a mile, he was attending the pace or making the pace. So you know he's versatile. He possesses speed, but I think he's going to catch a little more speed than he was catching in the races in Maryland. And I like the fact that he's turning back in distance for the mile, particularly on a track that appears tiring to me, Lafitte.
Okay.
You know, I think he gives the horse a lot of foundation, and it shows that he's got the fitness level that's probably necessary to get it done here.
Hello Hot Rod. Interesting side note, Brittany Russell trains Hello Hot Rod. Her husband Sheldon, there he is, normally rides, but Sheldon riding in Maryland today, so jockey and family friend Trevor McCarthy takes over this afternoon. Richie, aside from being the last African-American jockey to win a Kentucky Derby, Jimmy WINKFIELD. That's the reason, the existence for this race in honor of Jimmy WINKFIELD. What does viewers need to know about Jimmy WINKFIELD?
Well, he's just an incredible rider, an incredible horseman. Not only was he a very successful jockey, winning back-to-back Kentucky Derbies, 1901, 1902, on Allendale in 1902, Eminence in 1901. He rode 220 winners in 1901 when riders didn't have that many opportunities. He was actually ruled off because he didn't honor a commitment. Could you imagine if they ruled riders off for not honoring a commitment nowadays?
Nobody in the room.
There would be nobody in the room. So he wound up emigrating to Russia, where he rode for the Tsar of Russia, and he dominated in their major races.
That's awesome.
Yeah, won 5 Russian Oaks, 4 Russian Derbies, and then when they had the Russian Revolution, he went on to France, where he won many of their major races.
Incredible story.
Enshrined in the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame in 2004, posthumously in Saratoga Springs, and I think that was something that was long, long overdue.
Yeah, those 2 Derby wins, as you mentioned, 1901, 1902, it's been a long time. And something we're seeing here at Aqueduct, African-American-born jockey Kendrick CARMOUCHE, born in Vinton, Louisiana, and the kind of meet he's having here at Aqueduct, leading rider. What's the significance?
Well, I think it's kind of a signal that we've come full circle. You know, there was a period of time when African-American riders dominated the sport, and now we have a rider, African-American rider, Kendrick CARMOUCHE, dominating the rider standings here, and it couldn't be riding any better. His confidence level has hit a whole new plateau, and so much of anything in athletic endeavors is confidence.
What a scene that was, winning this Grade 1 cigar mile here last fall.
You know, and I had not known that that was his first grade one. And one thing about Kendrick, he doesn't hold his emotions in check. He puts it out there, and you know what? I applaud him for it.
You can feel it.
It's palpable. You can feel it, and he deserves it. This wasn't like something that happened by accident or overnight. This was a long time coming. He really kept working at his craft and working at making the inroads into this New York jockey colony. I got to ride a little bit with Kendrick CARMOUCHE at the twilight of my career. Knew he was a star then when I would ship into Parks Racetrack. Just a terrific rider and a terrific story.
Already with 1 win on the afternoon, Kendrick CARMOUCHE seeking a 2nd win today in the Jimmy WINKFIELD and riding a serious contender in Pico d'Oro later this afternoon. Today's schedule brought to you by Claiborne Farm. See the remainder of the Aqueduct program. Jimmy WINKFIELD is the 8th, just getting started at Oaklawn. You'll see races 2 through 9, and later, racing from Fairgrounds in New Orleans. Don't have a NYRA Bets account just yet? Offer still stands, and so does the incentive. Jump in on the action today with an NYRA Bets account and earn up to a $200 deposit match. New members use promo code MATCH200 when signing up and earn up to a $200 deposit match after their first deposit. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Join now at NYRABets.com to earn that $200 deposit match. Another perk of a NYRA Bets membership, playing the Aqueduct Showdown. Play the Showdown, free to enter handicapping contest on NYRA.com. Place your mythical bets and watch your name climb the leaderboard and earn real prizes. Visit NYRA.com/showdown to get started. Promise Live Racing isn't far off. Field for the 5th at the Big A. Good race. New York bred, 3-year-old fillies, $80,000 allowance, optional claimer, 7 furlong extended sprint, just like the Jimmy Winkfield Make Mischief, the favorite, 8-5 with about 14 minutes to post. When we come back, you remember what that filly did opening day at Saratoga? She ran second in the Schuylerville to eventual Frizette and 2-year-old champion finalist day out of the office. The class edge to Make Mischief in the 5th when we come back.
Catholic Boy, one of only 3 American 3-year-old colts in history to win Grade 1s on both dirt and turf, including the immortal Secretariat. A 6-time graded stakes winner from ages 2 to 4, he was the fastest 3-year-old of his crop over 10 furlongs. In foal to Catholic Boy, the dam of Swiss skydivers sold for $950,000. Dual surface Grade 1 winner Catholic Boy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Great to have you with us on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Richie, don't look now, but the Kentucky Derby is exactly 3 months from tomorrow. And those paths to Louisville all over the country starting to narrow, as we saw yesterday at Gulfstream Park, South Florida in the Holy Bull. And here is a Colts name who you might want to remember moving forward. Greatest honor, Richie. Wow.
I think that's the perfect word, wow. You know, Gulfstream usually isn't very kind to closers. And he made it look easy. And I got to say, I'm going to make a comparison here, not that they look alike, but think about how good Orb got and the way he ran at Gulfstream and then went on to win the Kentucky Derby. This was the most professional, greatest honor has been. He's really putting it together, I think, at the right time, taking those steps forward that you want to see. Mentally as well as physically, and he really finished the deal. This is a horse that should have no problem. The further they go, he's really bred to do it. He's certainly got the right connections. You know, Shug McGahee knows how to get one ready. This is a real deal.
Yeah, Shug, he told the Blood Horse that he told his wife Allison, quote, the pressure begins now. After that performance we saw yesterday from Greatest Honor. Just for context, Richie, let's say the Kentucky Derby was tomorrow. A Greatest Honor, your top 10, top 5, top 3?
Oh, he cracked my top 5 with that performance. He was straight and strong through the stretch. I love the way he finished, and I just love the maturation that I'm seeing from him. I just think he's taking steady, progressive steps forward.
Not sure if we see him in the Fountain of Youth or the Florida Derby. Greatest honor, Road to the Derby by way of Hallandale. The Fountain of Youth late February, 85 points, 50 to the winner. And the Florida Derby a month later, 100 points to the winner. A few hours later, out west at Santa Anita, that road to Louisville in the Derby through Southern California. The Robert B. Lewis pick up the action. Top of the stretch here, Medina Spirit. Top of the stretch, even money favorite in a pitch battle, Richie.
Yeah, but he just lost his focus when he was battling for the lead, and he had a horse there prompting him. He was focused. That horse fell away, and he completely went into idle mode. His ears came up. He jumped to his right lead early. He was very green, and then he really didn't respond until he felt horses next to him. Then he dropped his head and went on again. Very difficult for a horse to kind of shut it down at that point in a race and pick it back up. Still very green, but what a world of raw talent this horse has. I would just wonder if he's going to grow out of that and keep maturing, because the maturity I saw from Greatest Honor, I didn't see from him, but I cannot deny the ability.
Six-time Kentucky Derby winning trainer Bob Baffert told the Daily Racing Form, quote, he had every reason to stop. The track was really tiring, and he'll get a lot out of this race, unquote. 9th win in the Lewis for Baffert, 3rd straight Medina Spirit, Life is Good concert tour. Baffert's assault on becoming the all-time leading Kentucky Derby winning trainer, alive and well. As you look at the road to the Kentucky Derby, to the Santa Anita Derby in Southern California, with the San Felipe early March and the Santa Anita Derby April 3rd. Yeah, what else can you say? Bob Baffert loaded once again with talented 3-year-olds, and again, tied for the most Derby wins ever. One more win to have that record all to himself.
I mean, it feels like it's inevitably going to happen, if not this year, at some point. What an incredible resume.
The leaderboard, what it looks like now, reigning champ, 2-year-old champ, Essential Quality on top with 30. Keep me in mind, you'll see him in the Southwest, Midnight Bourbon, Lecomte winner. Points were out of whack last year. Derby in September, added preps, Tis the Law, had earned over 370 points. Historically, Richie, horse has been able to qualify with around 25, 30 points or so, historically.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting since they revamped the point system, how it's kind of taken some of those more sprinter type, speed horses that really don't want to stay, that could kind of muddy up the waters of the Kentucky Derby and create much too fast a pace for the distance. I feel like it's become a better run race, a truer run race, that they tweak that and kind of weeded out just sprinters.
Luck not playing the same role it used to in the Kentucky Derby, seeming like a truer run race. Right here at Aqueduct, the Withers next weekend on road to the Wood Memorial. As for today's program, we get back to the live action. And race number 5, updated odds, New York bred fillies, $80,000 allowance optional claimer, 7/8 of a mile sprint. Make Mischief 9-5 with about 6 minutes to post. Time for a paddock report as we welcome in Maggie Wolfendale, New York Racing Association analyst, standing by with this Race 5 paddock report. Hey, Maggie.
Hey guys, and we'll take a look at that heavy favorite here in the paddock. That is the one returning to New York bred company. Off of the trainer change to Chris Engelhardt, number 5, Make Mischief. She's a multiple graded stakes placed filly, and she has been in some tough spots. But sometimes when you continuously run a horse somewhat over their head, well, it'll dull their speed and kind of dull their fight. And I'm hoping that the time away possibly has instilled that speed back into this filly, as she does seem very sharp here in the paddock. Really well-developed hindquarters, and I always thought that the 7/8 shouldn't be a problem because she's a big, robust type of animal. I always worry, she seemed like one of those 2-year-olds that was going to be ready early. She was just that much bigger physically and more mature than the rest of her foes, but there comes a time when the rest of the competition catches up with her. But with what I'm looking at here, physically, I don't think these other fillies in this group have necessarily caught up to her yet. So I think she is formidable in this spot. She looks ready to go. Moving on to number 6, Pleasure Luck. Her last start off of a layoff was a winning one, and I thought it was impressive the way that she did it, for the fact that she was actually still a bit green while taking kickback in the early stages of that race. Then she kind of made this move around the turn in which she was on the wrong lead. She was actually on her outside lead around the turn, which can be kind of uncomfortable for the rider especially. But when asked and once in the clear, she really kicked away and powered away from the rest of the field. So I think she's moved forward from the physical sense in that she's much more fit than what she looked in early June of her 2-year-old year. Came in sharp, has run on her mind. Mark Hennig enjoying a very productive and plentiful Aqueduct meeting so far. Then there's kind of a wild card in number 2, Mendham. Yes, at face value, it does not look as though she's one that wants the dirt, but there's some pedigree to say that she should be fine on it. The fact that Todd Pletcher has run her twice on the dirt and still continues to leave her here. I know she's a New York bred. The options are limited. All you can do is really turn her out. But to be fair, her first race on the fast dirt was her debut. Always willing to forgive a horse for that. And plus, she just didn't look that fit, despite being from Todd's barn. And then going back to October 30th, it was a sloppy sealed racetrack going a mile and a 16th. She doesn't want to go that far, at least on the main track. So the 7-8 seems like the perfect kind of middle ground for her to get back on it. Yes. Do I think physically she looks more turfy? Yeah. But she also looks as though she's doing very well. So I thought she was a little bit interesting as that Barry Schwartz duo in here. She'll be paired with Iova here in this race as Lafitte, the jocks are coming out here to the paddock.
Maggie, thanks so much. Moments away from Riders Up in a post parade for this 5th race, Aqueduct. Mendham, we'll see about the surface. Maggie likes the cutback in distance. Here's Make Mischief. No denying, as Maggie mentioned, she has faced some of the best of her generation, day out of the office, thoughtfully, Princess Noor. Let's go back to her debut, Rich, because it's the last time she won and the lone time she faced Pleasure Luck. Pleasure Luck, no match for Make Mischief on that afternoon.
Yeah, and you know, I thought she won this day despite the fact that it was 5 furlongs. I thought it was a little bit sharp for her. I actually think that, you know, she's appreciated going a bit further. I think a mile and a 16th was out of her league. But you even see there, she was hampered a little bit in mid-stretch when the runner-up wound up coming out in her face. And, you know, the rider, Jose Ortiz, had to kind of steady and move her out. She kept coming. Loved the way she's been training. Now, people that don't know, CAA is Mark Cassie's training center. Mark Cassie was a trainer until this start. But obviously, he was preparing her for Gary Barber, the owner down there. Sent her up here to Chris Englehart because Mark does not have a string of horses in New York this winter. But some really solid works from the training center.
Leg up for Manny Franco. 4 wins here yesterday at Aqueduct for Franco. Last year's Belmont Stakes and Travers winning jockey. Make Mischief. We'll see her again in the post parade for this 5th race. New York bred 3-year-old fillies. There's CARMOUCHE. First half of the Richard Greeley, Mitchell Friedman entry 2 for 1. You're getting 7 to 1.
Won at 99 to 1 first time out. Comes from a really good family bred by Chester and Mary Broman. Has a lot of speed.
Chasing Cara, second half of the entry, finally graduated 8 to 1 the entry. Then number 2, Iova, 24 to 1 winner in her January 4th debut.
Yeah, for Barry Schwartz and trainer Horatio DePaz, and you know, I think part of an interesting entry.
January 9th debut, Iova. Mendham here. Again, a question about the surface, but Maggie mentioned the distance should be key. Strong warm-up here.
Yeah, the cleverly named Mendham by Munnings, who was born, Alfred Munnings was born in Mendham, Suffolk,
Pretty
England.
good. Shane's Pretty Lady, Todd Pletcher, trained by former Wood Memorial winner Bellamy Road.
You know, horse that's a closer, and I'm giving closers a little bit of a stronger look today. I like horses that are coming from off the pace.
Let's see if that trend continues in this upcoming 5th. Out first, blinkers on, and Trevor McCarthy takes over.
Yeah, blinkers on, turns back a bit in distance. Best run came in off going, though.
8 to 1. Here's the favorite. Now 8 to 5. Make Mischief. Manny Franco again off that big Saturday afternoon here.
I think the way this filly's been training down at the training center and what she was able to do early in the year makes her a standout here.
To her outside, familiar face, Pleasure Luck. 7 months later, gets a second shot at Make Mischief.
Yeah, Maggie gives this horse good marks in the paddock. You always got to give a horse an even stronger look. And that one race was very, very good in December. So this horse probably gets the right trip too, Lafitte. Being outside, it feels like we've got a little bit of an outside flow to this racetrack.
You know, make those adjustments in terms of your handicapping, the way the track is played thus far here at Aqueduct today. Just tuning in? Feel like playing the upcoming race but don't have, excuse me, you don't have those past performances? We have you covered. You can get the information on all these horses, trainers, and jockeys in today's races with free Equibase past performances. Visit NYRA.com/TV schedule to download your free PPs on all the races on today's show. Another look at Pleasure Luck, Richie. 6 months in between first and her second start, but it was worth the wait. This was on the 19th of December, right here at Aqueduct, and Pleasure Luck widening as she pleases.
Just, impressive. And I think she projects to get the same kind of trip. You see this kind of outside stalking trip, and then powers away. Big move up from the first start where she was beaten 3 lengths to Make Mischief, your favorite. So if you want to go in this direction, I don't have a problem with this filly at all. I think she marks a trainer that horses improve with racing. She obviously improved drastically from her first start to her second. Maybe there's another push forward here.
See if she can step up, continue to improve. Pleasure Luck. She'll draw from the outside, Maggie, where CARMOUCHE does have to deal with the rail here going 7/8 of a mile.
Yeah, always a tricky kind of position to be in when you do draw the rail on the inside at the 7/8 distance, kind of running out of the somewhat chute, and you often have that temporary rail to contend with. But CARMOUCHE is one that, well, mentally, she's had some ill effects in that. I remember the first time she was supposed to run back in September, she flipped in the gate, was a late scratch. I remember Mig was in the paddock for her what eventually was her debut, and that he talked to Mitch Freeman, her trainer. They schooled her tirelessly at the gate, and she got to win. And then last time she was rated behind a slow type of pace in which Rosa Veloce, she just dominated on the front end. And Secret Love, who finished second that day, came back with a big win. She was being yanked off of that pace. I just felt as though a lot of horses, besides Rosa Veloce, did not get to do their best running. Now CARMOUCHE gets another furlong. I think she should be aggressively handled by Pablo Morales. Hopefully she doesn't have any gate issues, as you do see the stalls on her gate open, because she is that bad actor, and sometimes the longer you have to stand, the more propensity a horse has to act up. So hopefully, fingers crossed, she behaves well. But I'd like to see Pablo Morales be aggressive with her, as she's very, very fit in her third career start. And to be fair, as Mig kind of alluded to, Make Mischief, as he said down at the training center, that is Mark Cassie's kind of home base where he does train his horses down there in Ocala. Lafitte.
Mark Cassie's home base there. Make Mischief. Important, as Maggie mentioned, CARMOUCHE and how she handles this, the load, and how quiet she stands before they spring the latch.
It's so important, and the fact that she's the first win, and she has a lot of time to kind of stand in there, and that nervous energy builds up, and you just don't want it to boil over before the start comes.
In the sound, you just try, even though you might be tense, knowing she has a tendency to blow up in the gate, it has to be tricky just to try to stay as relaxed as you possibly can as a rider.
Well, the more relaxed you are, the more relaxed they'll stay. So you've got to almost put yourself in a zen place.
She's standing quietly, and we're about ready to go as Pleasure Luck is coaxed forward. John Embrial standing by with the call. Race 5 live, Aqueduct.
And they're in the gate. And the rough. Pleasure Luck breaks well on the outside along with Chasing Cara. And the two of them are heads apart in the early going. Out first, moves up in between horses. Down at the rail is CARMOUCHE. Then it's Iowa, who's racing in fifth. Right alongside is Make Mischief in sixth. 2 lengths to Shane's Pretty Lady in seventh. And it's another 3.5 back to Mendham, who trails the field in eighth. The entries 1-2 here. It is CARMOUCHE and Chasing Cara. They are heads apart. The quarter 1 in 23 and 4. Pleasure Luck sits just off them on the outside in third. Make Mischief is now gaining ground from fourth as the field goes around the far turn. It's CARMOUCHE and Chasing Cara, and on the outside, Pleasure Luck. Then Make Mischief. In between horses is Iowa, and down at the rail is Out First. Farther back, Shane's Pretty Lady, and Mendham continues to trail. Now it's Chasing Cara, and on the outside, Pleasure Luck, as CARMOUCHE drops back. Make Mischief is gaining ground out in the middle of the track, and Shane's Pretty Lady has come through down at the rail as they move for the furlong marker. It is Pleasure Luck and Make Mischief. Make Mischief now makes the lead with a 16th to the finish. It's Make Mischief in front and drawing away. Then Pleasure Luck and Shane's Pretty Lady. Make Mischief by 3. Pleasure Luck was second. Shane's Pretty Lady finished third.
Manny Franco in his zone here at Aqueduct this weekend as Gary Barber's Make Mischief strikes. rallying wide, Richie.
Yeah, and followed just in the wake of the runner-up, Pleasure Luck. You could see, you know, he had a lot of horse. She was running a little bit spotty in the kickback, but when she tipped out to the clear, she dropped her head and ran. Manny Franco obviously very acutely aware of seemingly the way the track's playing. Now, these were the two best horses on paper. But you also had the 3-horse Shane's Pretty Lady, who was rallying boldly along the inside. And to me, she just kind of bogged down on the inside. I think you want to avoid being that close to the fence. Horses out 3, 4, 5 paths seem having the best of it. And again, these were the two best horses in the race, but all day that just feels like that's what the flow has been.
Two best horses in the race, Maggie, but also perhaps on the best part of the racetrack.
Yeah, wide is where you want to be. I totally agree with Meg, and we've seen it throughout this week here, and even last week, with the temperatures just being so cold. It's tough to, it's tough to get water down there. It's tough to just really have a good type of rail. So, I mean, look at where the one, who I was talking about, Pablo Morales was aggressive with her. She just was not sharp out of the gate and really had to be used up early. She faded to last, and we saw Make Mischief just sit the perfect trip, and really well done to Chris Engelhart and Mark Cassidy and Gary Barber for having her ready to roll. This will be a nice little confidence boost for this New York bred.
5, 6, 3, 4, Maggie. Make Mischief at 5-2. Pleasure Luck actually went favorite. Stay tuned for those results from Aqueduct. First look at Oaklawn Racing this afternoon. Field for the second race on the 6th day of the 2021 meet. $20,000 maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and older, 5.5 furlong sprint on a good track. Post parade, we start with Factual for 2-time Kentucky Derby winning trainer, Hall of Famer Nick Zito.
Turns back in distance, taking that big drop in class. Sometimes that class drop is really what the doctor ordered.
Let's see how she factors against these. There's a Yes, I'm Looking, Powerhouse Connections, and a big class drop as well.
Yeah, again, taking that drop. This horse did run for 40, where he was claimed from Nick Zito by Mike Maker. Gets Florent Giroux, who's winning it better than 40% so far.
In his own as well, Florent Giroux. A Just Life, and first after the claim for trainer Jason Barkley.
Yeah, a horse that actually has some races, I think, makes this horse pretty competitive at a fair price, too.
It's a competitive race. She's 6-1. Then another contender, Miss Mess, Oaklawn debut. Ricardo Santana rides for the first time.
Yeah, 2 decent races on dirt, tri-turf, synthetic, back to dirt. Ricardo Santana, he knows his way around Oaklawn Park.
He's 7-time riding champion, current 2-1 favorite. Number 5, Poseidon's Magic, debuting filly by former Grade 1 Vanderbilt winner at Saratoga, Poseidon's Warrior.
Yeah, not taking a tremendous amount of money on the board, 10-1, a little bit cold. You like to see these horses kind of take some money, give you a little insight into how they're training in the mornings.
It's all in the notes. Washington bred, first after the claim, Chris Hartman.
Yeah, another one that might appreciate the turn back in distance.
10-1 shot side by side, another long shot, Undecided Certainty. It's been a struggle for this filly thus far.
Yeah, this one would certainly be a surprise for me.
7 starts, make it 6 starts off the board in each of those. Kelsey Hart trying to spring the upset. Milana for Eclipse Award winning trainer, Brad Cox.
Yeah, and he doesn't have Florent Giroux, who rode this horse the first 2 times. Kind of, interesting, a little bit of musical jockeys as Florent Giroux winds up on the Mike Maker trainee down towards the inside. But listen, you leave Brad Cox out at your own peril.
At your own risk. Graduation day for one of these fillies and mares. Post time in a minute. And here's something you want to get involved with. The 50-50. It's the easiest way to earn a $10 bonus to play on Naira Bets. Just bet $50 on Aqueduct, $50 Oaklawn through the Naira Bets app, and all qualifying players earn a $10 bonus, regardless if you win or lose. Visit NairaBets.com for details on the 50-50 promotion. Great offer. Take advantage. And perhaps here in the second race at Oaklawn Park with about a minute to go. There's a contender again, number 8 in Milana, trained by Brad Cox. And Cox, who's won with 7 of his first 19 starters at the meet, 37% of that. That's pretty good. And you look at just the firepower, Richie, that Cox has at his disposal. The return of Monomoy Girl in the Bayakoa President's Day. The list goes on and on. It is an embarrassment of riches.
Well, it's an embarrassment of riches, but how balanced is his stable from maiden 20s all the way to the Grade 1 champion types like Monomoy Girl, who, what an incredible comeback story. And you know what? what a sporting gesture from the connections, the ownership.
Absolutely.
To bring her back at 5 after missing her 4-year-old campaign, that helps the sport. Fans like to latch on to a horse and see them make these multiple campaigns.
There might not be a more popular horse in training. A 2-time champion, Kentucky Oaks winner, 2-time Breeders' Cup Distaff winner, and in 15 days, she makes her Oaklawn debut. Monomoy Girl, her 6-year-old debut in the Grade 2 Baiacoa right here on America's Day at the races. That man will be in the saddle. Laurent Giroux, their connection is just a lot of fun to watch and what they've accomplished together. And because of the physical setbacks and all that, Tyler, horses come back from layoffs all the time. But to regain her top form amongst the elite, being gone for a year and a half, a perfect season, and another win in a Breeders' Cup Distaff, it's awesome.
Well, equate it to human athletes. How many times we've seen very good champion human athletes suffer an injury and never can quite get back to that level? Well, she did that and maybe surpassed it.
Monomoy Girl, again, her Oaklawn debut, President's Day, and what a day that will be. Loaded edition of the Southwest Derby Prep, Razorback Prep for the Oaklawn Handicap, and Monomoy Girl in the Baiacoa from Oaklawn in a couple weeks. All set for the second race. Vic Stauffer standing by, race 2 live, Oaklawn Park.
They're at the post. They're off. Milana breaks very well in the center and crosses and clears. She can pick her path. Milana very quick. Just Life Away second. Factual is third. Then to the outside, and it's all in the notes. Poseidon's Magic is next. Then in the center goes Miss Mess, followed by Undecided Certainty, and the trailer is Yes, I'm Looking. Milana is the leader into the far turn. It's a length and a half advantage over It's All in the Notes and Factual together second and third. Here's Miss Mess on the move, and Miss Mess is about to go from fourth up into second, and she's the danger to Milana as they run towards the top of the stretch. Milana's ahead in front. Miss Mess on the attack. We have a new leader. It is Miss Mess who puts a neck in front. Milana battles on from the inside. These two are now 2 in front of It's All in the Notes and Factual, Undecided Certainty, and here's It's All in the Notes to claim the front. It's All in the Notes suddenly 2 lengths in front as Miss Mess and Milana are left behind. Factual is at the rail, but It's All in the Notes and Kenny Tohill. It's All in the Notes. It's All in the Notes won by 5. Factual was second, Miss Mess third, Milana fourth.
Rally wide, the winning strategy thus far today. Aqueduct, rally wide, the winning strategy here. It's All in the Notes. Picks him off late with Kenny Tohill in the saddle.
Well, I must not have got the memo for It's All in the Notes because I wasn't on this one at all, but she worked out a good trip, rallied outside. Now, the first race was won in wire-to-wire fashion on the rail, so I wouldn't make any hard and fast judgments yet about Oaklawn, but It's All in the Notes was best.
The Washington bred, her best race had been on a synthetic at Turfway Park last December. She makes her 4-year-old debut first after the claim. Chris Hartman, he had her ready to rock and roll on this afternoon. It's All in the Notes for Let It Ride Equine Holdings. Graduates her first career victory in her 5th career start. Results when we come back, and she made it look easy.
Irish Hill and Dutchess View Stallions, proudly standing the ultra-fast, multiple stakes-winning son of Uncle Mo, King for a Day, who took the Sir Stakes at Pimlico in his first start at 3.
King for a Day, who'll rule supreme in the Sir Martin.
And the only horse to outrun 2019 3-year-old champion Maximum Security.
Maximum Security has been defeated. King for a Day by a length.
Sire Maker Extraordinaire Uncle Mo's King for a Day. Visit IHDVStallions.com to book your mare today.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. How do they not freeze, man? What are they doing?
Yeah, just enjoying the day at the races.
Freezing. Snow coming, by the way. Show is always brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. With Naira Bets, visit nairabets.com to get started or download the app. That thin California blood, Rich. I haven't shaken since I got here a week and a half ago.
You came during a pretty strong cold snap, but you know, this is something we see a lot, Lafitte. Horses that come out of warmer climates, whether training or racing, come up to this brisk, cool air, and they perform extremely well. This filly, the winner of our 5th at Aqueduct, Make Mischief, training down in Ocala, Florida, you know, certainly much warmer there than here, and training with a purpose. And I'm honestly surprised she didn't go off the favorite.
Yeah, Pleasure Luck, actually, 2-1 at post time. Make Mischief handles her again. Manny Franco, the 4 wins yesterday. He's piling up numbers. Here at the Big A, another win. Make Mischief a 5-6-3 there. Back at Oaklawn Park, it wasn't just the winner, but also the runner-up, a big price. Factual completing the exact at 20-1 and 13-1. It's all in the notes, running away and hiding.
You know, we see a lot of big prices at Oaklawn, particularly early in the meet. You have so many horses coming from so many different jurisdictions, and sometimes, you know, you kind of have a hard time deciphering the form, or a horse gets lost. So there is opportunity there if you can kind of mine those nuggets.
It's fun. It's not the same horses always facing each other. We had a couple of races yesterday where you had horses that had last run at 7, 8 different racetracks, and you've been all over the Remington shippers, and that's been a good angle that we'll see some more of later on this afternoon.
Yeah, but it seems to work better with horses with proven form, not so much maidens as much as, you know, you get these good hard-knocking claiming horses that come out of Remington. They seem to fit really well, and that's an angle that I've been leaning on and actually having some success with at Oaklawn.
So that's what we're watching here at Aqueduct. If that trend continues, rally wide, what we've seen thus far, the Jimmy WINKFIELD is the 8th race. We move forward and back and forth from Hot Springs to South Ozone Park, New York. The 6th at the Big A. A good maiden race, non-winner, 3-year-old fillies, 3/4 mile sprint, $80,000 purse. The favorite there, Heels Together. But she's the expensive one of this crew. Heels Together, $410,000 purchase. Was she worth it? First start of her career. When we come back, you're watching America's Day at the Races.
Climax Stallions is coming to New York with Mr. Monomoy. At 3, Mr. Monomoy dominated the Grade 2 Risen Star Stakes at Fairgrounds, going wire to wire.
Mr. Monomoy leads them home in the first division of the Risen Star Stakes.
He's also a half-brother to 2-time Breeders' Cup Distaff winner, Monomoy Girl. Mr. Monomoy, standing in New York at Waldorf Farm for $5,000. For more information, visit climaxstallions.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
So glad you could spend the afternoon with us on America's Day at the Races. Live coverage from Aqueduct Racetrack in South Ozone Park, New York. Getting closer to post time for the 6th at Aqueduct, start of the late pick 4, first race in the sequence, featuring these 3-year-old fillies, maiden special weight, 3/4 of a mile dash, $80,000 purse. Heels together, number 2, the favorite, at 2-1. Down to Maggie for this race 6 paddock report.
Yeah, we'll get to heels together in just a moment, Lafitte. But actually opening up and taking some money, I do believe it was the 1A. That's Chargina, who does come here by way of Maryland Ford trainer Mike Trombetta. And just for people who aren't aware of why this horse was coupled with the plain one, it's because Trevor McCarthy and Katie Davis, now Katie McCarthy, are married, and there is this old rule that says that married jockeys must be coupled in the wagering. But Chargina, she chased the favored winner around there the whole way last time in that waiver claiming event for Maryland breds. They don't have to run for the $40,000 tag. Now she comes up here in an open maiden special weight, so that does speak a bit of confidence from Mike as he sends her here. She looks like a quick type. I mean, she is compact and stout, really built downhill with those nicely developed hindquarters. She's fit. So while I'm not in love with her, I do think that the favored first-time starter will have a very big impact on the outcome of this race. I do think we'll see some pace from her. Not that that is an advantage over today's racetrack, though, but at least she's drawn outside. Moving on to the one drawn inside, and yes, heels together will have to work out a trip from that post position. But speaking of the pedigree, as this daughter of Hardspun sold for $410,000 at the Keeneland sale, the dam went 2 for 3 in her lifetime with some decent figures in dirt sprints. The second dam was a multiple stakes winning dirt sprinter, and so that makes her dam, High-Heeled Girl, a half to Lady TNT, who was a good runner, won on debut up at Saratoga as well, and won a couple sprint stakes subsequently after that. I like what I see from her. She's solid, she's fit, she's carrying great conditioning, and for Christophe Clement, who doesn't have horses stabled here throughout the winter, I think that speaks highly because Christophe Clement, Chad Brown, they are primarily turf trainers. They have a plethora of turf horses, so that's why they go south to Florida for the winter. And to run a dirt sprinter in those races in Florida, you're not running for nearly as much money. For the $80,000, you're running for about sometimes $60,000 less than that. So why not come up here if you're confident with your horse to take advantage of that purse? She looks ready to go. She'll be my pick here. As the other first-time starter, number 6, Strong Point, has decent pedigree as well. Outworks. They have been running well in his first crop. And while the dam, she is 21, that's not great. She was a decent dirt sprinter as well, and she has produced some decent horses. Flash Trading actually ran some fast races around here for John Terranova, who actually claimed him. And then Spelling Again was a multiple stakes winner for Brad Cox. So she's spotted in the right condition, at least here going the 6 furlong. She came in sharp. She looks fit, but she's almost too lean. I'd love to see her carrying just a bit more muscle mass. She doesn't look great in her coat either. So with her, I would take the wait and see approach, Lafitte.
Maggie wants to see her bulk up a little bit. Strong Point, the first-time starter by a former Wood Memorial winner in Outwork. Saw a really good Outwork 3-year-old colt and filly win an opening weekend at Oaklawn. See what Strong Point does in her debut. Live look at number 7, Just Read It. We mentioned, look, her solid debut, and I know you like this filly a lot, Richie. This is on the 20th of December, right here at Aqueduct, same level of maidens. Just Read It, riding the rail throughout and encountering some traffic eventually.
Yeah, and I just thought this was a really solid debut. You know, she's chasing in the inside, not the most comfortable position for a young horse. They've never really had to encounter this. Even if they've worked with other horses in the morning, it's different under racing conditions. You know, you could see Eric Cancel's trying to find a spot. He had to kind of come out over heels there. And to me, she's running on the wrong lead. She just kind of hung a little bit, finally changed there. I think with the way the racetrack's playing, with her draw, and the race under her belt, I think she's going to take a step forward, and she projects to get the trip that I think has been producing winners today.
Yeah, and not a brutal trip, but some obstacles to overcome, education that she would have learned in her day. Just a lot to build on, Just Read It. That race under her belt, and the post position switch. She had the rail in that start, and outside draw today. Lots to like, except you're not getting 9-1 on this afternoon. She's 7-2.
But I also think the trouble line's a little bit misleading. It says inside hole closed 360. It didn't really close, and she came out fairly smoothly. Like, that would lead you to believe that she got stopped. She never did get stopped. No, not at all. But again, I'm kind of playing how this racetrack today is playing. And with her draw, I think she stalks from the outside, and I like that. I have questions about the favorite. I like that Maggie likes the way the two heels together looks, but she's training in South Florida at Payson Park. They could easily go up to Gulfstream and run up there. Why does she ship up here? Now, obviously she can win, and she's a high-priced yearling, or at least she was a high-priced yearling. And Christophe has done, and his son Miguel, incredible work with their first-time starters. I just wonder if she had wowed everybody, why she wouldn't just go up the road to Gulfstream Park.
Clement's done enough to convince everyone, not just a turf trainer anymore, right? Yeah, he's escaped that pigeonhole.
He shed that moniker.
He shed that. And what Kendrick CARMOUCHE is doing, pictured aboard My Delicious, is making short work of this chase for a riding title at Aqueduct. Look at that big lead he has built, Richie, and the confidence that he has going in riding a live contender a little bit later on in the feature, the Jimmy Winkfield.
But he's doing something that when a rider's in a zone and their confidence level's high, they do consistently, and that's putting horses in position to win.
Kendrick CARMOUCHE try to add to his total with My Delicious. The entry here, Cause to Dream, Chargina, 2-for-1, 4-to-1, because the jockeys, Katie Davis, Trevor McCarthy, Katie McCarthy, they're married. And as Maggie mentioned, now results in terms of the wagering, a coupled entry.
Yeah, an archaic rule. Out of the two, the 1A Chargina would be the more preferred of the two.
Heels together, the favorite.
First-time starter, training down in South Florida for a very, very successful trainer in Christophe Clement.
$410,000 purchase, despite all odds. First start for trainer Michael Maselli.
Yeah, his daughter Spitzer has run some decent races, and first time for a new trainer.
Number 5, My Delicious, Kendrick CARMOUCHE, 5-to-1 if you like this filly.
Yeah, filly that's going to have to find a little bit more in the tank, but she does get the leading rider to sign on.
Strong warm-up from CARMOUCHE to strong point. Randy Hill, Gatz's stable, first-time starter.
Yeah, first-time starter. Taking a bit of money for a trainer who can get one ready to fire first time out. A little bit green there going off, leaving the pony.
Taking some action. 7-2. Miggs says go time with Just Read It to the outside.
Yeah, I just like the way this race looks to set up for her. I think she's going to take a step forward with the start under her belt and the good outside draw.
That's the field. Race number 6, these 3-year-old fillies, good maiden race in just a few moments. And don't forget, Naira Bets is hosting this live money handicapping contest Saturdays and almost every weekend in 2021. It's a $300 buy-in, and with a cash payout through 7th place and 8th through 10th place gets an entry into next week's contest. Registration ends at 5 p.m. on Fridays for the Saturday contest. Visit naira.com/challenge for more information. Back down to Maggie.
And we'll take a look at number 7, Just Read It. And if you notice, if you got a close look at her face in the paddock, you notice that she nearly has a perfect lightning bolt as far as the white star on her forehead. And I talked to right handler trainer, and he was kind of mad that they didn't change the name, because when they bought her, she already had the name Just Read It to something clever like even just Potter, because she does have that perfect lightning bolt on her face. But I like her here. I mean, I thought first time out she broke really sharply, especially from that inside post position, and then a somewhat passive ride and letting the other jock who was on the eventual favorite, Our Working Girl, get over in front of him, and then she just kind of chased that horse around there. So a really promising debut, and she looks fit. She's very professional here. She does get Lasix as well for this second start. And I guess Megan and I have differing opinions on why they've shipped up number 2, Heels Together. And I'm taking the optimistic approach because, in my opinion, money talks, and they're not running for $80,000 in maiden special weights on the dirt at Gulfstream Park. So that's the beautiful thing about horse racing, guys, is it's kind of a game of poker and reading these trainers. I guess we both should have texted Christophe Clement, huh, Mig?
They're not in the gate yet. Still have time.
yeah, might be a little rushed.
I'm staying out of your debate.
No, listen, I can understand the way Maggie's looking at it, and that makes sense to me too. I guess more to the point, I just think the inside draw on today's track is a negative. So if I was even leaning that way, that would sway me back the other direction.
So how much would you veer from your game plan as a rider at this stage of the day, and you feel like the best place to be is on the outside? Like, how much would you veer from the game plan?
Well, I think you've got to make every effort you possibly can to get out there. Now, it's not always easy. Sometimes you know where you want to be. You just can't get there because of a position like post 2. But it seems to me that Manny Franco is very in tune with that. You want to be on the outside.
Let's see how the race flow looks early on, what the riders try to do in terms of establishing position, and if that trend of horses rallying in the outside paths continues in this 6th race at Aqueduct. Filing into the gate, final check of the tote board, reading 9-5 now on Mig's selection. Just Read It with Dylan Davis on the outside. John Embrial with the call. Race 6, start of the late pick 4, live from Aqueduct.
They're all in. And they're off. From the outside, it's Chargina. My Delicious away well as they race up the backstretch. There goes Cause to Dream now. So it is My Delicious with the lead. And then the entry, racing 2nd and 3rd here, Chargina and Cause to Dream, who's down at the rail. Just Read It in the clear on the outside in 4th. Heels Together runs in 5th. And it's Despite All Odds in 6th. Then Strong Point is the trailer in 7th. The opening quarter went in 23 and 2. My Delicious on the lead here by a length. Chargina in 2nd. Just Read It, it's on the outside, and Cause to Dream is down at the rail. It's a break of 2. Back to Heels Together in 5th, followed by Despite All Odds, and Strong Point is still at the back. My Delicious continues to lead as they hit the top of the stretch. Here's Just Read It up on the outside. Just Read It now going on with it. It is Just Read It in front. Just Read It has opened up on the field here. Just Read It in front by 4. Cause to Dream is down at the rail. On the outside, it is Heels Together and Despite All Odds. But no catching. Just Read It. Much the best here. Photo for 2nd between Despite All Odds and Heels Together.
Just Read It. It's wash, rinse, repeat. The same strategy paying off in the 6th race at Aqueduct. Stock and pounce at about the 4 path. Just Read It. You loved going in, Mig. You're not going to love the price at post time, though. That number really plummeted 6-5 when they sprung the latch.
Yeah, I was hoping to get that 5-2 when I liked her so much. And it just looked like it was going to set up like this on paper with that post position. It just made Dylan Davis's life very easy. And Dylan gave her an absolutely perfect ride. She didn't break quite as sharp as she did on debut, but she was able to ease up into position out in the clear where it seems like it's just an advantage.
Just an advantage and much the best, Maggie. Quality filly here. Just Read It as she breaks through in her 2nd career start.
Yeah, and it could have been a blessing in disguise not breaking as alertly, because once again we see another race where the pace just kind of came apart a bit. So well done. She was ready to rock and roll here, and Holy Greenness with number 2, Heels Together. That inside position didn't do her any favors, and she just seemed a bit lost. Manny Franco was kind of all over from the onslaught. When she got away from the kickback, she ran on against a bit more, but she hopefully will learn from this effort, and we'll be back with a more professional effort in her next start, guys.
Want to see that in the comment line, the trouble line. Holy Greenness for Heels Together off her debut.
Well, you could see her climbing from the kickback. They've never had that kind of dirt thrown back at them, or especially with the ferocity it comes back with in a racing setting. And she actually did well to come on to be 3rd, because it looked like at one point she was just going to throw in the towel completely. Good run from the runner-up Despite All Odds, making the first start for trainer Mike Maselli.
7-4-2-1. Just Read It at 6-5. Dylan Davis. Ray Handel teaming up for a victory here. Results in just a few moments from Aqueduct. Back to Oaklawn. Race 3. Just a $7,500 claiming event. Older horses running a 1 1/16. Good betting race, though, with Ike. Favored at 5-2. Let's see what he looks like in the post-paraded, along with Altito. 53rd career start for this 7-year-old gelding.
Yeah, Altito kind of lost any kind of speed, and drops in class, but boy, the recent form's been off.
Gospel Abe, 90th career start, 9-0 for this 9-year-old gelding.
And comes out of Remington Park, steps up a little bit in company, but trainer Federico Villafranco doing well.
Another win yesterday, 3 wins opening day via Franco. Number 3, Vaquero Flies, owned and trained by the coach, the legend, Dwayne Lucas.
Yeah, this horse is 0 for 5 at Oaklawn Park last year, and over the course of time, that's a big negative to me.
I can't see those silks without thinking of the great Landaloose. Number 4, Ice Crush. Lots to like here. Recent form is solid, and Florent Giroux takes over.
Yeah, Florent Giroux aboard, horse that's got a lot of natural speed, should create his own trip.
6-1, that's surprising. Number 5, Hit the Ticket. Martin Garcia with 2 wins on the Saturday program as we still look at Ice Crush. There's Hit the Ticket.
I think Hit the Ticket is the rightful favorite. Good to see Martin Garcia get those 2 wins coming back off injury, kind of frees the guy up and takes that pressure off.
First win, that injury mid-October at Keeneland. Martin Garcia had that big 2020 meet at Oaklawn. Number 6 here, Ike, the West Rock homebred for Ron Moquette.
And comes out of a win at Remington Park.
Remington to Oaklawn, a formula that's worked the first several days here thus far. Where are we going? Indiana bred, the 5-year-old gelding Oaklawn debut.
Yeah, Oaklawn debut, and I think a rightful big price.
Determinant on the outside, unraced since last July. Rocco Bowen, his 8th different jockey in as many races. Wow.
You know, when you start seeing that where you can't get a rider to kind of stick with a horse, you wonder if he's the kind of horse people enjoy riding.
No, I'm good.
Yeah,
no, I'm good.
I took my chance with him, although he has changed jurisdictions a few times. Tough draw, very tough post.
Grizzled vets in this one. They're all gelding, $7,500, claiming route in about 3 minutes. Another look there at Ike. Began his career with 2-time Triple Crown winning trainer Bob Baffert. I've been with Ron Moquette over the last couple of years. This was his most recent effort, Richie. As we mentioned last week, look out for those Remington shippers at Oaklawn. Ike, a front runner, winner mid-November at Remington.
You know, not only though was he a front-running winner, these were fast fractions that he set for lower level type horses. So it wasn't like he just, got loose and it was a function that nobody bothered him. He ran hard and then he was very game. He got to drifting. He obviously looks like he's a little bit hungry coming down to the wire, but he got it done.
That was Remington's leading rider, David Cabrera, aboard for the win. Cabrera back in the saddle today. Ike, trained by Ron Moquette, and just can't say the name Ron Moquette without referencing his newly crowned champion, Whitmore. He is one, we talked about popular thoroughbreds in Monomoy Girl. Whitmore, one of the more popular thoroughbreds in training, a hero around Oaklawn, and now a Breeders' Cup Sprint winner and Eclipse Award winning champion, Mig.
He just worked out such a perfect trip, and he's such an honest horse, and I think a very deserving champion. And how about his longevity? You want to talk about a horse that's created a fan base because he comes back every year and shows up and goes to work. Now, I think he's a little bit beyond what I call a lunch pail horse because he's a champion now. But from that honesty and hard work respect, I would still call him a lunch pail horse. And he did compete in the 2016 Kentucky Derby against the likes of Exaggerator, Gunrunner, Nyquist, the winner of the 2016 Kentucky Derby. And here is the Kentucky Derby hat with Whitmore on the front. And it's very conceivable that Whitmore this year could run against some of the offspring of some of the horses he competed against in the Kentucky Derby. And I just want to thank our colleague Jody. This is her hat. She let us use it. Nice prop. I think that's pretty cool.
No, that is great. In a time and space in thoroughbred racing with the emphasis on so many of these great horses with everything they'll accomplish, going back to a Justify, we never saw him again after the Belmont Stakes, after the Triple Crown win, premature retirement, their value in the breeding shed. We understand that. But at the same time, as you mentioned with Monomoy Girl, part of the popularity, the familiarity, getting a chance to see her multiple years. She's coming back for a 6-year-old season. Whitmore, who is so popular, not only at Oaklawn Park in Hot Springs, but he's a national treasure in thoroughbred racing and now a champion, a Breeders' Cup winner. And not done yet. He's staying in training for his 8-year-old season, Whitmore, and scheduled to make his 2021 debut in the March 13th Hot Springs that he'll try and win for like the 17th time or whatever it is.
We do understand the economics of it.
Of course.
Why horses get packed off to stud, what I feel prematurely, a horse doesn't fully mature until they're 5. So we don't get to see the best of some of these horses. If they're sound and healthy, you would like to see them race further. I always go back to Forgo. As a kid, Forgo was the benchmark to me, and I would start looking in the Newsday about end of April, early May, because I knew he was going to show up in an allowance race someplace coming out of winter quarters in Camden, South Carolina. And you'd get so excited. And he had a huge fan base. Why? Because he ran for several years here on the toughest circuit.
You know what John Henry, what Santa Anita was like when he would run in a big cap? As he was getting older, as good as he was at 8, 9, and 10 years old, we get to watch, we're going to see Tom Brady in his, I don't know, what is it, 20 years or however many years he's in the NFL. He's played in, in a ridiculous percentage of Super Bowls that have been played. And part of the lure is the familiarity and seeing the very best year in and year out. Where would the NFL be if the great young quarterbacks would retire after their second year in the league? And in thoroughbred racing, you remember back to American Pharoah after he won the Triple Crown, every time he raced, it was a massive event. The Haskell, there were 15,000 at Saratoga to watch him breeze the day before
to gallop,
to gallop. 15,000 at Saratoga to watch him gallop.
And being there that morning, the electricity, it was palpable. People were piling in. They wanted to see the Triple Crown winner, American Pharoah. Now, people, I think, prematurely call certain horses great.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could justify I could not call him great. I would call him brilliant. He was like a shooting star. It was there, it was beautiful, and it was gone. I think what defines greatness for me is consistency and longevity. And that's what I want to see more of from some of these horses. I think it just helps the sport.
Why we love Whitmore, not disagreeing with the owners retiring the sport, not criticizing it. Like you mentioned the economics, we get it.
Sure.
As racing fans, selfishly, we want to see our superstars more often and for longer periods of time.
Yeah, and maybe that's the thing. Selfishly, we want to see them. We enjoy seeing them compete. And again, as long as horses are healthy, there are a large percentage of horses that are dissatisfied with the life of leisure. They go to the farm and they're not content. They walk the fence line. They like having a job. They like doing something. So, sometimes you hear people think, oh, well, the horses don't like to run. That's just not the case.
Love their job.
Oh,
right.
Vast majority. And the ones that don't, they weed themselves out pretty quickly. You see from their form, this horse just doesn't enjoy doing this.
If you think back to that morning before the Travers, they were calling Saratoga Faratoga, 50,000 at the Spa when defeated by Keen Ice. Keeneland just electric when he ran in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Again, we're racing fans first. And that's why we're going to, at some point, if I saw Brad Cox walking down the street for all he's accomplished and all the Breeders' Cup wins and his big 2-year-old Newly Tuned 3, Essential Quality, and the first thing I'd want to ask him is, what was your reaction when you heard Monomoy was coming back?
Yeah. I mean, he had to be pretty happy about that as well.
Brad Cox, Monomoy coming back, Whitmore still doing his thing, and Vic Stauffer still doing his thing. On the mic with the live call, third race live, Oaklawn Park.
They're at the post. They're off. Ike wins the break and goes to the front from Where We Going and Vaquero Flies. Hit the Ticket is taken back off the pace, then Determinant, followed by Gospel Abe and Ice Crush, and the early trailer is Altito. Easy lead for Ike at the clubhouse turn, and he gallops along 2 lengths in front of Vaquero Flies, who races second. Where We Going is 3 deep third for the Bug Boy Morales, and about 2.5 lengths off the lead. He's 2 in front of Hit the Ticket, who's a pumped up fourth. Hit the Ticket wants to go. He is 4 from the front. Then it's 2.5 lengths back to Determinant and Gospel Abe. They've got 6 lengths to close, and at the back of the pack are Altito and Ice Crush as they race midway on the backstretch. No excuses today for Ike. He's had it easy up front, and he goes to the half-mile pole with a 1.5 length lead over Vaquero Flies in second. Now these two have sprinted about 7 or 8 lengths clear of the rest, headed up by Hit the Ticket, but moving outside of him is both Gospel Abe and Determinant. Then Where We Going, and at the back of the pack, Altito. They leave the backstretch with Ike still the leader. Vaquero Flies continues to inch a bit closer in second. Ike is a length in front, and now he lets out a notch again at the quarter pole and leads by 2. Hit the Ticket is moving up now. He's about to take second. He's got a final quarter mile to make up 4 lengths to try to catch Ike. Ike cuts the corner and leads. He is 2.5 lengths in front of Hit the Ticket, who continues to advance, and Hit the Ticket is closing now with every stride. Gospel Abe is into third, and Ike is going to have to hold off Hit the Ticket. Ike is just a length in front. Hit the Ticket continues to advance. Ike trying to hold. Hit the Ticket trying to get him. Ike Hit the Ticket come to the wire, and Ike says, "No, you don't," and turns away Hit the Ticket. Gospel Abe third, Ice Crush fourth.
No, you don't. Great call, Vic Stauffer. Ike right on cue. A victory here for trainer Ron Moquette.
Game winner last time at Remington Park, and I like Ike. And I liked Ike, and I hit the ticket.
You like those Remington shippers. You really like Hit the Ticket going in. Hit the Ticket making a late run at Ike. Ike, the 6-year-old gelding, digs in and finds just enough to repel the late charge of Hit the Ticket to Martin Garcia.
And you can see this is a horse that wants to win. He's tired, but he's sticking his neck out, straining for the wire. He was not going quietly into that bid.
He knows what he's doing out there. Ike by a former Belmont Stakes runner-up and painter. Ike for West Rock Stables, the West Rock homebred, low level. David Cabrera, good rider. Good rider. Ike holds off Hit the Ticket. Results coming up from Oaklawn Park. And when we come back, there is a special place in Lexington, a historical landmark, a place of rest where prominent African Americans from all walks of life are buried. Doctors, lawyers, and yes, jockeys.
A Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, War of Will became a classic winner with this victory in the Preakness Stakes. This year, he added turf credentials to his resume with a determined victory in the Grade 1 Maker's Mark Mile, a winner and Grade 1 placed at 2, multiple graded stakes victor at 3, and Grade 1 winner again at 4. This son of War front has proven his class at every level. A classic winner with a stallion's pedigree, War of Will, standing in 2021 at Claiborne Farm.
For 3 generations, the Bond Racing Stable has held to a simple philosophy. If you take care of the horses, they will take care of you. That guiding principle drives every aspect of operations at the family's Songhill Farm and Racing Stables. From breeding to breaking, racing and retiring, our commitment to our horses is reflected in everything we do. Now you can join our Grade 1 winning team with racing partnerships starting as low as $3,000. Bond Racing Stables, 3 generations of thoroughbred excellence.
Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I do not hear myself.
JK.
Hola.
What's happening, man? Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Visit nairabets.com to get started or download the app. With the all-time leading Aqueduct jockey, Richard Migliore, you rode well here, Mig, and you're pretty good at handicapping here, apparently. You love Just Read It going in. That price, the bottom fell out, but she performed accordingly.
Yeah, she ran well, and this was an impressive big step up from her first start. Nothing like a start. It's probably worth 4 or 5 works, if you will. And just got that perfect setup. Great draw, great post position draw.
And that same trend you've been following all afternoon, stalking rally wide in advantage on this afternoon.
Yeah. And it's so important, whether you're a rider or you're handicapping or a trainer, to recognize when there seems to be a specific bias to a racetrack.
Just Read It, dominant. Aqueduct, Jimmy Winkfield in the 8th. Oaklawn, meantime. How about Ike, the homebred? Deep stretch, big lead, getting smaller by the stride. Late run, hit the ticket. Wire gets there just in time, and Ike digs deep.
Yeah, it looked like hit the ticket might nail him inside the 16th pole, but Ike fought for it. He did not lay down, he not quit, and when he felt the challenge, you could see him straining to get there first, and you love to see that kind of determination in a racehorse.
I like it when it all comes together, the show comes together. Ron Moquette, Whitmore, Breeders' Cup Sprint winner, Eclipse Award champion, and another trip to the winner's circle for Moquette. Ike, 5-2 over Hit the Ticket, 6-5-2 at Oaklawn Park. Later on this afternoon, the feature is the Jimmy Winkfield, and I think it's important to explain why the race exists, who Jimmy Winkfield was, the last African-American jockey to win a Kentucky Derby. But he's not the only one. Oliver Lewis, Sue Perkins, Isaac Murphy, all African-American jockeys to have won the Kentucky Derby. They're all buried in the same place, and they're all honored at the same place.
We're here at African Cemetery number 2. It's a historical landmark for the city of Lexington, really the state of Kentucky. But not only are there tremendous amounts of equestrian horsemen buried here, but you also have Buffalo Soldiers and very prominent African-American class people in terms of doctors, lawyers, attorneys, and dentists. Most importantly and most notably is Oliver Lewis, who as a 19-year-old African-American jockey will ever be remembered as the first Kentucky Derby winner in 1875. Then followed by James Sue Perkins. He won the Kentucky Derby at age 15. And then lastly, the great Isaac Murphy. Isaac was a 3-time Kentucky Derby winner, 1884, 1890, and 1891. He rode in 11 Kentucky Derbies. He was able to really bring people together. White and black alike flocked to the track to see this man and all his glory. And Isaac's 44% winning percentage will probably not be eclipsed. Isaac was really able to, communicate with the horse through his hands and his warm personality. We just felt like there needed to be representation in terms of the African-American contributions to horse racing. We formed a nonprofit, the Project to Preserve African-American Turf History, with the goal of an ongoing running project that really paid homage to this forgotten past. We created the Isaac Murphy Image Awards to honor or to recognize prominent African-Americans in business, education, entertainment, and sports. And we wanted to do that by bringing them to the Kentucky Derby, learning a little bit of history, and what better way to recognize them with an esteemed Isaac Murphy Image Award. The overall mission of PATH is that we wanted to find ways that we could integrate the history into the equine industry and really have some outreach and outgrowth in terms of setting the next generation up in terms of learning about this forgotten past. I think it's, when we really get down to the nuts and bolts of it, this story gives us a lesson in terms of diversity and inclusion that I think is very relevant today. It provides us with a blueprint to really amplify that message and that story nationwide, especially in times like this. Horse racing in its earliest days set the foundation for a sporting culture that far exceeded anyone's expectation. And I think, if we can get the sport back to where its days of glory and its prominence, but more importantly, its impact on diversity and inclusion, I think everyone wins in that situation.
Everyone does win in that situation. This is really important. Richie, you're a student of the game, the history of the sport, and I think this part of the sport's history is perhaps unknown to a certain extent, and specifically the significance and influence of African-American jockeys over the years.
Well, and obviously in that era, in the beginning of the Kentucky Derby and races like that, they were front and center. And I think as it became more financially lucrative, they were kind of pushed out. But if you think about the contribution that African American people have given to racing over the years, more behind the scenes from that turn of the century, period of time, it's remarkable. The best exercise riders, the best grooms, and just maybe not getting the opportunity at that upper level. That's why it's so significant, I think, what KENDRICK CARMOUCHE is doing now. A few years back, a rider named Marlon St. Julian, I think, was a tremendous rider, African-American, was getting an opportunity. So, you just like to see it become more fair.
Absolutely. And why this race exists today in the Jimmy Winkfield, in honoring his legacy as the last African-American rider to win a Kentucky Derby. That's in race number 8 at Aqueduct. The racing does continue. The 7th is coming up next. There is the field and updated odds, allowance optional claimer of the $40,000 variety, New York bred fillies and mares with Miss Jimmy. 2-1 the current favorite, field of 7 sprinting 3/4 of a mile. Those 3, 4, and 5 pass, Richie. They've been gold to this point.
Yeah, I really think that if you're leaning one way or another and a horse that you like is more drawn outside, I'd lean more in that direction than one that's more drawn inside.
Again, watching the riders leaving the gate, trying to establish position on the best part of the racetrack. Is that out where they used to call it Ussery's Alley? Bobby Ussery out here at Aqueduct?
Ussery's
a little
Alley
bit wider?
Was way out on the outside fence, and I actually tried that one day. It was not easy to execute.
Not as good as Bobby Ussery used to do it?
No, he had it down to an art form.
He did, absolutely. Ruby's in time here in the post parade. Does his best running from outside post position. She's drawn inside, though, here.
Yeah, she's going to have to work out a trip. I know Manny Franco would like to get outside, but he's going to have to figure out how to get there.
Baby Boss ready to roll.
You're getting a good warm-up here under Trevor McCarthy. Horse, can show speed, but also can come from a bit off the pace.
Like the warm-up, because she is best, I think, when she's in the mix early. Awesome Alana, first half of the claim here. Mitch Friedman.
Yeah, it's going to have to improve, particularly off her last effort.
18-1 outsider. Number 4, Violent Point, quick filly with KENDRICK CARMOUCHE.
And again, you always see KENDRICK give that good warm-up. This filly does her best running on the front end. Track might not suit that style very well.
Favored, number 5, Miss Jimmy, and John Toscano seeking a second win this afternoon.
Yeah, and I was talking with John earlier after his first victory in the card. He acutely aware of where the horses want to be outside today. Mike Luzzi has been riding her, and Mike's pretty sharp.
A gray mare there favored. Roan pictured in Pendolino here with Eclipse Award Apprentice finalist Louis Cardenas aboard.
Yeah, and she's going to have to improve. I mean, she's got some decent races, but I think this might be a little tougher than what she's faced.
Elegant Zip, daylight winner, facing softer January 8th.
I think she's the one who gets really elevated for the way the racetrack's been playing. I think the racetrack can aid her, and she's one I'm going to be looking to use in my exotics.
With your handicapping, do we need Jonathan Kinchin at this point?
We definitely need Jonathan Kinchin.
He's can't just give him the
much
day off?
sharper than me with this.
2015 National Handicapping Championship Tour winner joins us on the show, JK. The bar has been raised to this point here on America's Day at the races by the gentleman sitting to my left. He's been spot on with the handicap. Hope you brought your A game.
What's that, Lafitte? I didn't hear you. You want me to do? Oh, sure. This thing? Oh, this is just my ABR trophy for Best Podcast, America's Best Racing Fan. Is that what you said? That you wanted me to show you this trophy and tell you more about it?
My vision isn't perfect. Participation award? Is that what it says on the base?
Oh,
congratulations, man. That
in
was
the money
awesome.
Thank you, Maggie, as well, a winner in the moneypodcast.com. Check it out. But anyways, look, there you go, Maggie as well. So I like the 5 in here, but I think the 4 is at least worth a conversation. This horse did get loose on the lead last time with KENDRICK, and that is one of those situations where I would normally downgrade a horse for working out that kind of comfortable trip. But the fractions were fast. So I'm kind of caught in between on whether or not I want to downgrade or upgrade. I'm going to just take it at face value. I think this horse could possibly get loose and could be dangerous. I don't think this horse wants to get glued down to the inside. Hasn't been the place you want it to be, but I do think is interesting. But for me, I feel like the 5, Miss Jimmy, just has too much of an edge in here. They should come back to her. She should get the trip that she wants. And she's a short price at 5-2, and she is the favorite, but they pay for 5-2s as well.
Now I know why you had me on your podcast right before voting started. Now it all makes sense, man.
Hey, it's a little bit of strategy. It's not just horse racing. It's anything I could find. Any edge.
Good luck with your selection here, JK. Who'd you like again, Mig?
I like the 5, the favorite. I just think she's going to get the right kind of setup for, especially the way the racetrack's playing.
See if those jockeys, see what strategy going in, trying to find that golden path. It's been so productive in the first handful of races here thus far. Pendolino, hesitant, steps forward as the snow begins to fall in South Ozone Park, New York. Elegant Zip moves forward. John Embrial with the call. Race 7, live, Aqueduct.
And they're off. And a quick start for Ruby's in Time from that inside post position. And she's put on the lead here by Manny Franco. Baby Boss right behind, running in second. Then it's 2.5 lengths back to Violent Point, who is next in third. Awesome Alana down at the rail in fourth. Room on the inside for Miss Jimmy, who's now coming on through. Then it's Elegant Zip, and the trailer is Pendolino in seventh. Ruby's in Time ran the opening quarter mile in 23 and 2/5 seconds. Baby Boss in hot pursuit right behind in second. Then it's a length and a quarter to Violent Point in third. Miss Jimmy down towards the rail, running in fourth. On the outside is Elegant Zip. Then Pendolino, Awesome Alana now trails as the field comes for the top of the stretch. It's Ruby's in Time and Baby Boss. They are 1-2 right together, and on the outside it is Violent Point. Miss Jimmy is down towards the rail looking for a way through. The half went in 47 and 2. Ruby's in Time. Here's Miss Jimmy all out in second. Extreme outside is Elegant Zip with a 16th out. Ruby's in Time at the rail. Miss Jimmy is there, and here's Elegant Zip on the outside. Elegant Zip to win it. Elegant Zip from off the pace, then Miss Jimmy and Ruby's in Time.
Wow. Elegant Zip, well off the inside, rallying wide, runs them all down, just like every winner for the most part this afternoon at the Big A.
Yeah, and you know, I think she got the trip that you want on this track. The post position certainly helped, but Elegant Zip, I elevated because of the way the racetrack's been playing. Mike Luzzi went to the inside. He was able to come out around the leader, who hung in very tough on the rail. But I think Elegant Zip was running on the place you want to be, almost like catching that treadmill, if you will. It's kind of carry you a little bit. But you know, also too, maybe in fairness, Miss Jimmy, you know, she didn't get off very clean, and maybe Mike felt like he had to take some edges and not lose as much ground. But I really think it's just a big advantage to be outside today.
You mentioned just out in the post parade that she should be positioned to take advantage of how the track's playing. Question was, would she bring it? She did. Elegant Zip far outside. So if the rail isn't where you want to be, big run then, Richie. Ruby's in Time down inside, and Miss Jimmy battling bravely in between horses.
Yeah, and you know, maybe that'll lead some people to believe that the racetrack isn't playing that way, but I think if you go back and look at the charts of the races, it's going to bear out. Horses have been winning more towards the outside, but Ruby's in Time broke so sharp and really established the lead so quickly, and she was very game. I think on a fair racetrack, she probably would have gone wire to wire, and Miss Jimmy, you know, she went to the inside and just barely did run down Ruby's in Time.
7-1, Elegant Zip, 7-5-1-4. It's like a slingshot move that we've been watching here today at Aqueduct. 7-1, Elegant Zip. Pablo Morales, 4th lifetime victory results. When we come back, also look back at the featured events yesterday at Oaklawn. Will Secret in the Martha Washington. And how about this filly, Frank's Raquette, 5th lifetime stakes win in Hot Springs yesterday afternoon.
Spun to Run. In the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, he defeated a loaded field that included multiple Grade 1 winners Omaha Beach and Improbable. His brilliant speed figures were among the fastest of any 3-year-old at a mile or more. And he hails from the legendary Danzig sire line. Multiple graded stakes winner, millionaire, Breeders' Cup champion, Spun to Run, new for 2021, standing at Gainesway.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
Day in a sense yesterday at Oaklawn. We saw Willis Horton's homebred Will Secret score the 8-1 upset in the Martha Washington.
This is America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. About Elegant Zip closing that slingshot move, 7-1 at post time here, Richie.
Yeah, it seems like that's where the horses have been winning from, rallying down towards the center of the racetrack. Elegant Zip had a good draw, didn't have to fight her way to get out there. I tell you, Pablo Morales, I rode with him when he was an apprentice here in New York. He's really developed and become such a strong rider as a journeyman. And Elegant Zip at late rally outside 17:20.
17:20 Elegant Zip, Miss Jimmy, and the exacta for a $129.25.
Yeah, pretty good exacta there. Actually got lucky and hit it. Pressed with Miss Jimmy on top, but Elegant Zip wasn't a bad result for me either.
Nah. You have 2 more races. You have to keep pressing. You can't put away the. Don't shut down.
I feel like it's been a good day.
Don't shut it down yet. Don't shut down the NYRA app just yet. At least till the end of our shift. Oaklawn Racing. 4th race. $30,000 restricted claiming sprint 3/4 of a mile. Older horses. We will recap the stakes activity from yesterday in just a moment. In the Martha Washington for 3-year-old fillies. First local step towards the Fantasy. Oaklawn's most prestigious race for 3-year-old fillies and final prep for the Kentucky Oaks. Also the American Beauty. They have some real good sprint races for female sprinters at Oaklawn. Frank's Raquette in her 4-year-old debut. And stellar performance for a filly. One of the best in the business female sprinters in the country. That's coming up shortly. First things first, post-parade here and Adrena's Star to kick things off at 10-1.
Yeah, Adrena's Star coming from Thistle Downs, Prairie Meadows before that, but has had success at Oaklawn.
Rockshaw is out. 10-1 shot side by side. Hidden Ruler here for John Ortiz.
Hidden Ruler has speed and finds a tough spot though. Might have some company.
Contender, well connected here for Robertino Diodoro.
Yeah, well connected coming out of a stake at Delta Downs and was claimed for 50. Shows up in here for 30.
And they come from all over the country to race at Oaklawn. Big melting pot. Omen of change at 18-1 at Remington. Shipper at a price.
Yeah, but running on the turf at Remington would have to improve. This is a pretty salty group.
All right, 2-time Breeders' Cup sprint winner, Midnight Loot. Kelsey Haar aboard. Contender here, Hunani Road for M&M Racing. Mike Sisk, Robertino Diodoro, David Cohen. Always dangerous at Oaklawn, that trio.
Yeah, David got off to a little bit of a slow start, but kind of found his stride now, and they are a tough combination.
I think won for his first 23 mounts, but now getting a couple of victories in momentum. David Cohen, DeRapper, currently the favorite, 2-1.
And this is a horse that's coming out of some hard-hitting races at Remington Park, and that has really translated well to Oaklawn.
Freddie Villafranco's barn going very, very well. High proof to the outside. Florent Giroux. You're just not going to get Giroux often at Oaklawn at that price.
That's 6-1 for a horse that is 1-for-1 at Oaklawn Park. And talk about just what to get back to what you said, a melting pot. This is 7-horse field with the scratch. 6 of the 7 horses have raced at different jurisdictions than any of the other horses, from Delta to Churchill to Thistledowns. They all congregate here. You've got 2 coming out of Remington Park.
It makes it more challenging, I think, for the handicapper. Again, not these same horses facing each other over and over and over. Hunani Road, there he is in the Mike Sisk green and white, trained by Robertino Diodoro. Diodoro, who trains a very good 3-year-old, who has already accomplished a lot in his young career. Keep Me in Mind, multiple Grade 1 placed, 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, a winner under the lights in the Kentucky Jockey Club at Churchill Downs. Another big name you can add to that Southwest mix. Keep Me in Mind, pointed to the Southwest on President's Day. Next stop towards the Arkansas Derby at Oaklawn Park.
Yeah, and I love that you know, series of races that build up a crescendo to that Arkansas Derby and obviously onto the Kentucky Derby. You know, you got to like when a horse has shown an affinity for Churchill Downs when we're talking Kentucky Derby. And I love the horse's mechanics. His stride is really, really efficient, and I like the way he finishes. He's got the right kind of style.
Gets to lock horns, perhaps with essential quality to make his 3-year-old debut, we believe, in the Southwest, the reigning 2-year-old champ. Jonathan Robertino Diodoro wins a lot of races, the defending training champ at Oaklawn Park, and is handling a very, very nice 3-year-old, and keep me in mind.
No, he is, and it's not necessarily how he kind of came on the scene. You know, we know the Bob Bafferts, the Todd Pletchers. They're going to have these good 3-year-olds. Diodoro has cut his teeth in these ranks, claiming horses, improving horses, things of that nature. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does on the Triple Crown Trail and how he can see this horse continue to progress. As far as this race, look, I like Well Connected in here for a couple of reasons. This horse is going to end up going off favored. It's 5-2 right now on the board. Will be the favorite when they pop from the gate. The thing about this horse is they claimed the horse back in November 25th at Churchill Downs for $50,000. Okay, there's a little bit of math here I'm going to try on the fly. Now, they claimed the horse for $50,000. That day, he won for Maker. They ran the horse back in a stakes race at Delta Downs. If you're not familiar, Delta Downs is a different configuration. It's kind of more of a bull ring. So some horses like it, some horses don't. He didn't run well there. Then they come back here in this spot, and now they're running for a claiming price of $30,000. So some would say, oh, they're going to lose 20. Well, in the game that they play, if they can win this race and then someone claims the horse because he's aggressively spotted, then they're out. And if they win the race, they keep him, then they drop him again next time. It all works out. It might look like a negative drop, but to me, for a trainer that wins a lot of races at Oaklawn Park, it just feels like a smart economic move, getting out while you can try to get ahead. If you're going to treat this like a business, you have to part ways sometimes with certain horses, and I feel like this is an aggressive move to try to do that. Some might look to the 6, Hunani Road, as an opportunity if you're playing the musical jockey game. Richie obviously familiar with that game where you're looking, oh, David Cohen, Diodoro's main rider, shows up here. Not so fast. I think he shows up here because David Cohen rides a ton for M&M Racing, who won the meet last year. They do not want to take off of an M&M horse to ride another horse for Diodoro. It's just not good for business. I think the 4 is where you want to be in here, and I would not follow the jockey to the 6, Hunani Road.
Since he began his sales pitch, the price has plummeted, and now Well Connected emerging as the 5-2 favorite with Ramon Vasquez. I think it's an easy, often mistake that can be made by an analyst or a handicapper looking at a particular race, and what horse did that trainer's go-to jockey choose, when you just assume, well, obviously he's riding that horse because that's the better of the two, when so often is the case it's much more complicated than that.
Well, yeah, not only do you have loyalties with the trainer, and obviously it's the same trainer in this case, but you have loyalty with owners and connections. You know, I remember when I was riding almost all of Michael Hushin's horses, you know, if he had an entry with a Barry Schwartz horse and, you know, let's say an Ernie Dahlman horse, somebody else, I was probably going to ride Barry Schwartz's horse. You know, I had a much longer relationship with Barry. He put me on winners when I was a 7-pound apprentice all the way through my career. So he was woven through the tapestry of my career. I was always going to lean in that direction if I was riding 2 from the same barn, but he was the owner of one of them.
A prior engagement that a jockey says, I will ride that horse, or an agent will ride that horse weeks out, and maybe another horse from that same barn winds up in the same. I'd like to ride that one, but you've already made that commitment. And that commitment should be honored, but it's not something you can read about in the form.
No. Well, and also something you hear people say all the time, well, you know, high-profile rider, Johnny Velasquez is sticking around to ride the last. Well, he had a commitment on that horse. They don't know what race that is going to be until the races are drawn. So it could have come up the first race. It could have come up the 10th race.
I don't want to conjure any, I don't know, forgettable decisions or mistakes you may have made through your career. Is there one horse? Is there one decision leading up to a big race and you chose horse A over B and it turned out to be something you really regret? Does anything come to mind?
You know, honestly, not really, no. I mean,
I never made those mistakes.
No, and I did, and I know, but I don't think as much in higher profile situations. A lot of times unfortunately for me, those decisions were made for me because I got injured or, you know, I couldn't ride. But, you know, when I think back to some of the really high-profile horses, I do think I made mistakes at times, maybe not showing loyalty in one spot when I should have in hindsight because you get blinded by, well, that horse is much better. And in the long run, if you stick with your outfits, they're going to support you when it's not as good as it is at other times.
I'm getting lit up to ask you about a Pacific Classic.
Okay.
With your son.
Yes. I was riding AP Excellence for John Sheriffs. Was going to be second choice behind Lava Man. Worked him at Del Mar. Worked terrible. Hated the synthetic surface there. They came along and asked if I wanted to ride Student Council. I didn't know Student Council, but I said, well, I know AP Excellence isn't going to get anything. John let us off the commitment. Wound up winning the...
That one worked out pretty well.
Yeah, paid $48, I think.
Big upset. Back on the synthetic at Del Mar. See, that was right decision made. It all worked out there. Here at Oaklawn, we'll see how it works out for the Diodoro duo. Well-connected. Hunani Road filing into the gate. Standing there still on the outside, a derapper. We send things over to Vic Stauffer with the live call. This is the 4th live from Oaklawn.
They're at the post. They're off. Drina's Star is sent out for the front from Hidden Ruler and DeRapper second and third. Hunani Road broke a bit flat-footed, but now he moves up to be a joint third between horses. Then Omen of Change and High Proof, and the trailer is well connected. It's Drina's Star up the back stretch with a 2-length advantage over DeRapper 3 deep, Hunani Road between horses, and Hidden Ruler at the rail. Then it's a length and a half to High Proof and Omen of Change, well connected just inside those two. Many chances leaving the backstretch, and here comes DeRapper outside of Drina's Star. Drina's Star ahead in front of DeRapper, who is racing in second. It's 2.5 to Hunani Road, who races now third. Hidden Ruler has dropped back. He's passed by Well Connected. High Proof in the center has a chance. Drina's Star is now back in front clear. Drina's Star, top of the stretch, cuts the corner and leads by 2 from DeRapper in second. High Proof is third. Well Connected and Hunani Road. Drina's Star continues to travel strongly, and he's well in front. Drina's Star now 4 lengths in front of DeRapper and Well Connected. Drina's Star coast to win. Drina's Star won by 3.5. DeRapper was second, Well Connected third, and Hunani Road finished fourth.
Upset here. I don't know what price he was. He was 10-1 in the post parade. 9-1, I'm seeing it. Post time, Drina's Star in the 4th at Oaklawn Park.
This horse was an absolute winner every step of the way. At the 3/8 pole, this horse was flicking his ears back and forth, enjoying himself. And you know what? Dig a little deeper. This horse has 5 starts at Oaklawn Park with 2 wins in a second, and the fastest races this horse has ever ran, speed figure-wise, 93 Beyer speed figure, was at Oaklawn Park.
And yeah, productive again at Oaklawn Park, 1.746 in race number 4. That is not how Will Secret won yesterday's Martha Washington at Oaklawn Park. The first step towards the fantasy, the 3-year-old fillies. Long-term thinking Kentucky Oaks with 17 points on the line, 10 to the winner, Will Secret. Just like Daddy used to, will take charge, launching a bid from far back.
Yeah, and obviously was getting over the ground beautifully. They had wet conditions at Oaklawn yesterday. This horse was running over the top of the ground. Finished with energy. You got to like what you're seeing here. The runner-up had significant trouble early in the race.
Joyce Rocket. And Coach coming on late, the defeated favorite.
Coach is the one who had significant trouble early in the race. I think she was going to be second best regardless.
No, this filly was much the best in finding her form, having won 2 straight off a maiden win. Dallas Stewart, master of the upsets. Will Secret, Willis Horton, homebred, Arkansas native. Will Secret in this road to the Kentucky Oaks. We'll see a mid-March in the Honeybee, 50 points to the winner, and of course the Fantasy the day before the Arkansas Derby, 100 points to the winner. About 90 minutes later, Franks Riquette made her 4-year-old debut in the American Beauty, Mig, and came back in fine fashion.
She certainly did, and you know, it's nice to see her back too as she's advancing in age. She's fast and she's good. Was in a position to win every single step of the way. You got to think she's going to have a good campaign this year.
Sitting on a big campaign. I forgot she in that Breeders' Cup Sprint Whitmore won. It 18 to whatever price he was. She was 5 to 1 in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Yeah.
For the Hall of Famer Bill Mott. Things didn't work out that day. She comes back, puts forth a big effort, and Frank's Raquette a 5th stakes victory. Nancy Holthus at Oaklawn Park with a look back on a day that the fillies really stole the show.
It was Ladies' Day in a sense yesterday at Oaklawn. We saw Willis Horton's homebred Will Secret score the 8-1 upset in the Martha Washington. Her trainer Dallas Stewart said her next start will be here at Oaklawn, maybe the Honeybee, or wait for the Fantasy in early April. Then Frank Fletcher's homebred Frank's Rocket for Bill Mott blasted home in the American Beauty after sitting off lightning fractions set by Amy's Challenge. Just a few weeks from now on a special President's Day Monday card, the best 3-year-olds in the country will compete in the Grade 3 Southwest. Undefeated 2-year-old champion Essential Quality is set to make his 3-year-old debut for Brad Cox. Another standout is Kentucky Jockey Club winner Keep Me in Mind for Robertino Diodoro. Then in the Grade 3 Bayacoa, Supermare Monomoy Girl is set to make her Oaklawn debut after winning her 2nd Breeders' Cup Distaff. Whether it's 3-year-olds bound for the Arkansas Derby or champion mares with visions of apple blossoms, the spotlight will be here at Oaklawn on President's Day.
We'll have it all for you here on America's Day at the races. And more stakes racing for 3-year-olds. Field for the Jimmy WINKFIELD. Horses are in the paddock with 6 minutes to post. Pico Doro favored at 7 to 5. We check in with Maggie. Maggie, Hello Hot Rod. What are you seeing from Hello Hot Rod, who was the morning line favorite? Very sharp coming in, 2 very good victories.
Yeah, Lafitte, I'm loving what I'm seeing from this Maryland bred, as we have 2 here in this Jimmy WINKFIELD. We'll get to the other Maryland bred that's returned the ring in a second, but I'm loving what I'm seeing from this son of Mosler, trained and partly owned by trainer Brittany Russell, as he is big, robust. He looks far more physically mature than his fellow newly turned 3-year-olds here in the paddock. He has handled his first trip outside of Maryland with aplomb. He is very relaxed, but yet possesses that good energy. And I don't mind the fact that he's turning back from that 1-turn mile to the 7/8, a distance where he has already been successful. His problem, obviously, as we have seen throughout the first 7 races here on this AQUEDUCT card, is that inside post position. Trevor McCarthy aboard for the first time will need to work out the right kind of trip. If anybody else goes, he's going to have to likely take back and try to angle off of the rail. Moving on to number 4, Return the Ring. He showed speed in his debut too. A son of Spicer, sold for $130,000 at the Fasig-Tipton Timonium sale. Worked really well that day, and it carried through all the way to late November when he won for Eddie Barker at first asking. My complaint with him that day, while he looked fit, it looked as though he needed to strengthen up a bit, and he has done so. He looks fitter, he looks stronger, and he still has the same disposition. He's a really laid-back kind of guy. As we'll take a look at Pico Doro, the most seasoned of these young 3-year-olds. And going back to his last dirt effort, which was his fastest race to date at the 7/8, I thought he was well back, and that race kind of dominated a little bit more towards the front end, but then he also made this really early 5-wide move around the turn, and those type of moves just don't necessarily work at Churchill. Inside is always better. Here in the paddock, physically, I do prefer the aforementioned 1 and 4. More so, he's a little bit on the smaller side, kind of unassuming. He has a decent resume, but as far as physicality, Lafitte, he doesn't quite stack up to number 1, Hello Hot Rod.
Hello Hot Rod, Maggie, who's so good in those recent races, but what kind of trip, as you mentioned, does Trevor McCarthy try and work out from the inside? Kendrick Carmouche, there he is, looking for a 2nd win in the Jimmy WINKFIELD as the snow starts to fall here in South Ozone Park. Maggie's hat, the star of the paddock. We'll see who's the star of this Jimmy WINKFIELD post parade for the Sunday feature. Hello Hot Rod, 2 straight victories here, razor sharp.
Yeah, it does look good on the racetrack as well, and he turns back in distance, which I think bodes well from a fitness standpoint.
Second half of the entry, Scotch Rocks.
Yeah, because of the antiquated rule, Katie Davis is coupled with her husband, Trevor McCarthy. Scotch Rocks less preferred than the 1. Hello Hot Rod.
Number 2, Magnificent Chrome, 43-1 winner in a maiden claiming race here 2 weeks ago.
Well, he should be closing, but would be a huge surprise to me.
9-1. Big scratch. Wayburn is out. Number 4, a Return the Ring debut. Wire-to-wire winner here late November.
I think he's the quickest of this field. I think he'll be in front. I hope that Dylan Davis decides to keep him a few paths off the rail.
And the favorite, Pico Doro, Kendrick Carmouche, riding the winner in this race would be a fitting end to this Jimmy WINKFIELD.
Yeah, he's been successful at 7 furlongs. Got a great outside draw, and I think he gets the right kind of trip.
3-year-olds. In the Sunday feature, the Jimmy WINKFIELD in honor of the last African-American jockey to win a Kentucky Derby. Just like in the Derby, these are 3-year-olds. Jonathan, Pico Doro, 7-5 with Kendrick Carmouche. I know you were expecting big things from him this afternoon, but that price continues to plummet.
Yeah, I think the price is plummeting for a couple of reasons. And I think the main reason is because what we've seen on this card so far and what we saw for majority of the racing yesterday is that kind of outside, middle of the track move. It got a 7-1 home shot last time, and it's just been prevalent over the last couple of days. And I think that nowadays with racing being as available it is to viewers at home, back in the day you didn't really get the chance to see it as much. And now that you can see it, and there's a much more educated fan base, I think people are aware of that, and the price is reflecting. It's going to be hard for this horse not to end up in that area that has been that good part of the racetrack right down the middle. And I think that Pico Doro should get some pace to close into, is tactical enough. Kendrick gets the nice, comfortable outside draw. Everything seems to kind of make sense for why this horse is going to run well. Speed figures, it all just kind of is laid out for him. And I'd be really happy to see Kendrick win this race.
A fitting end, again, to this Jimmy WINKFIELD, to see Kendrick Carmouche win what would be a second victory in this particular stakes race. Pico Doro, 3-2. The entry, Hello Hot Rod, Scotch Rocks, 2-1 now, 7-5. Hello Hot Rod, you're Trevor McCarthy. What would you do from that post, Mig?
Well, you got to let him come out running. Anytime from the rail, you got to let him come out running. He seems like a very tractable kind of horse, a horse that's not going to get rank on you. So let him run away from there. Hope that Dylan Davis on the 4, Return the Ring, who I think is just naturally quicker, clears off and you're able to angle out to his outside. Even if that puts you in the 4 path, 5 path, I think you're better off there than being suckered inside, where then if Dylan pushes you down towards the fence, you're in, I believe, the worst part of the track.
That's been a huge factor this afternoon. Hello Hot Rod, big reason he's was the favorite going in, and 6-5. That performance you saw there at Laurel, Hello Hot Rod and Trevor McCarthy, 7-5. Return the Ring, 9-5. Pico Doro on the outside. Here's Return the Ring. That one race, how impressed were you by his wire-to-wire score right here, late November, going, flashing that speed and making his debut a strong one?
I really liked the race. I thought it was a strong race. He went to the front. He threw his ears up. When a horse throws their ears up, it's because they're settled, they're relaxed, they're not all in. When you see horses pin their ears flat against their head, that's when they're digging in and reaching down for everything they have. So he kind of rated himself along, got some pressure, horses came to him, and then he kicked on again. So I really thought the debut was very professional and very good. If it was a different kind of track, I think he would be my top selection.
But now the adjustments that have to be made, and again, it goes back to a conversation we had earlier and how much jockey is willing to veer from the game plan or veer from what a thoroughbred is most comfortable doing.
Well, and also, too, the fear for a rider is, especially if you're on a front runner, you put him out in the 4 or 5 path, and then somebody comes through inside of you and beats you, you're almost embarrassed, right? But you have to dare to be great. And if you know that's the right thing to do, just do what you know is right.
Are you committed to what that plan is once the gates open? Are you looking around at all to see what anybody else is doing and then adjusting on the fly?
Well, you have to be able to adjust on the fly, but you usually want to try to make other guys adjust around your plan.
In honor of the last African-American jockey to win a Kentucky Derby, it is post time for the Jimmy WINKFIELD live from Aqueduct. Here's John Ambrial.
And they're off in the Jimmy WINKFIELD Stakes. Return the Ring, and Hello Hot Rod is in front. Return the Ring runs in second. Pico Doro on the outside is next and third. Then it's Magnificent Chrome in fourth, and Scotch Rocks is the trailer in fifth. And the 3-year-olds move up the backstretch. Hello Hot Rod leads here by a length. Return the Ring runs in second. Pico Doro in the clear on the outside in third through a quarter in 23 and 4. Magnificent Chrome is in fourth. It's 2 lengths. Back to Scotch Rocks in fifth. Hello Hot Rod continues to show the way here and leads the field into the far turn. Return the Ring continues to chase in second with Pico Doro now moving up a bit on the outside from third. It's 3 lengths back to Magnificent Chrome and Scotch Rocks at the back. Hello Hot Rod's at the rail. Return the Ring's in between horses. Pico Doro's on the outside. The 3 of them arrive at the top of the stretch together after a half mile in 48 seconds. It is Hello Hot Rod challenged here by Return the Ring with 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Hello Hot Rod and Return the Ring. Pico Doro is in third. Hello Hot Rod digs in on the inside. On the outside, it's Return the Ring. The 2 of them are right together with Pico Doro in third. They come on down for the finish, and it is going to be a photo finish between Hello Hot Rod on the inside and Return the Ring. Photo finish in the Jimmy Winkfield.
Thriller in the Sunday feature at Aqueduct. Hello Hot Rod, tough as nails, resolute down the stretch, repelling all challengers.
He was ultra game, just fought for it every inch away from a very game second-time starter and before Return the Ring. He just did not want to lose. Trevor McCarthy, give him a lot of credit for staying off the rail. He had speed from the inside, but he parked out in about the 3 path the whole way. Every so once in a while, checking to his inside, making sure no one was going to slip through, but certainly contributed to the victory. Give Dylan Davis a lot of credit, too. He, kind of got his horse to rate a little bit, stayed in that outside path. No excuses. I think, Hello Hot Rod, this being his 4th start, turning back from a mile to 7 furlongs, where Return the Ring, this was his 2nd start, and stretching out to 7 furlongs, that foundation, that bottom in the winter, and his gameness. You can give this horse a lot of credit. This was a terrific stretch drive, knockdown, drag-out battle between these 2.
It's like Hello Hot Rod was watching Medina Spirit highlights last night from the Robert Lewis. How determined he was in victory. Just wouldn't let anyone by. You could see how proud Trevor McCarthy was of Hello Hot Rod. Another look, deep stretch. Hello Hot Rod inside Trevor McCarthy. First time he's ridden him. And on the outside, Return the Ring. And that's got to be a frustrating one for Dylan Davis to walk away without getting the W.
The horse ran too good to lose, and it looked like he might even right there have him. This inside horse would just not yield.
Man.
This is a definition of a horse wanting it.
Those are the types of performances as well as a racing fan, regardless of who you bet on, and that gets the blood pumping. What you just saw, it's not a grade 1 race. The Jimmy Winkfield, these good 3-year-olds, and that type of stretch duel. If you were introducing this sport to someone who's never watched a horse race, it's a race like that you would show them to introduce them to.
Oh, absolutely. When 2 horses and 2 riders are just pulling out all stops, and it comes down to inches, and this is a game of inches. But Hello Hot Rod couldn't have been gamer.
And against the grain of the track, against the flow, against the strategy that's been working all afternoon, but did stay off the rail.
But Trevor McCarthy was able to park him out off the fence far enough where I think that helped, certainly aided in the victory.
That's going to wrap things up for us here on America's Day at the Races. Maggie Wolfendale will be jumping in the cockpit here. I need to ride to the airport, man.
You got it. Let's go.
No, really, I need to ride to the airport.
Yeah,
really?
we're going. Yeah, before the snow gets bad.
You guys heard it. Mick's got to get me to the airport, and Hello Hot Rod is going into the winner's circle, taking down the Jimmy Winkfield. Andy Serling, Maggie Wolfendale coming up next. 1, 4, 5, 1 in the feature at Aqueduct. Stay tuned.
DeMarshalier offers breeders a rare opportunity. Out of a full sister to champions yesterday and Quarter Moon, his picture-perfect pedigree includes 8 Grade 1 winners under the first 3 dams. A winner in his 2-year-old debut at Aqueduct, he was named a TDN Rising Star. He captured a decisive victory at Keeneland and won the Grade 3 Pennine Ridge Stakes at Belmont. The only son of topsire Dubois standing in Kentucky. DeMarshalier standing at Claiborne Farm.
Irish Hill and Dutchess View stallions, proudly standing the ultra-fast, multiple stakes-winning son of Uncle Mo, King for a Day, who took the Sub-Barton Stakes at Pimlico in his first start at 3.
King for a Day, who'll rule supreme in the Sir Martin.
And the only horse to outrun 2019 3-year-old champion Maximum Security.
Maximum Security has been defeated. King for a Day by a length.
Sire maker extraordinaire Uncle Mo's King for a Day. Visit IHDVStallions.com to book your mare today. Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races here on Fox Sports 2. We just saw a thriller in the future race here at Aqueduct in the Jimmy Wingfield. Hello, Hot Rod, but hello here from the Equestria Studios. I'm Maggie Wolfendale on set here, and pleased to be alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. And Andy, we were treated to quite a feature here at the Big A.
I'm just glad we got those imposters off the set. They were pretending they belonged here. It was really kind of embarrassing. That was a great race. It really was. Give a lot of credit to Trevor McCarthy.
Yeah.
Excuse me, because I just got so excited being next to you because he. Wow, I'm starting off well. Let's start this over again. Because he recognized that the second place finisher was potentially the lone speed, and he took that away from him, but he also drifted off the inside. And Maggie and I were talking a little bit off air. It feels like it's been a bit of an outside-y flow racetrack during the day, and sometimes it's situational, but I think that not only being aggressive against the 4, but also drifting really helped his chances.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it through the first 7 races, Andy, where it was tough to be on the inside, let alone setting the pace. And Trevor McCarthy, with a horse that's naturally fast, gave him every opportunity to not be against the racetrack, which I thought was commendable. And even in the second start, Return the Ring was game as the runner-up, too.
He was. He ran very well. I think he definitely improved off his first start because not only that, the 1 and 5 were both more experienced horses, and even though they were experienced out of town, they'd run against respectable fields, run respectable races, and they'd also run longer distances, whereas he was stretching out. Both of the 1 and 5 had both run a mile.
Yeah, they kind of had that bottom in them. Pico d'Or could not pick them up in the late stages. And hello, Hot Rod, returning 480 as the winner. Congratulations to trainer and co-owner Brittany Russell, along with Dark Horse Racing, as you check out that late pick 5 follow along. Elegant Zip. I mean, where did that race come from with her?
Well, we talked about the outside flow,
right.
And the 2 main horses were down in the inside and involved in the pace. I think that helped her, but I guess David Donk realized the dirt was probably the right place to bring her back. And, that's Brittany Russell. That's her first win on the dirt in New York. She won 2 turf races in Saratoga, but she had been 0 for 8, but she's had an incredible amount of success out of town, and she's definitely a sort of a new face to take a look at.
Yeah, a former assistant to trainer Brad Cox, and she's done very well down in Maryland, and obviously married to jockey Sheldon Russell. Who, yeah.
I did not know that.
Obviously. They have a lovely
you
daughter.
You know everything. You know Maggie.
Well, that's my hometown.
Maggie, you know everything.
Stay up on it.
You're the source.
Number 3 there on your screen as we check out the post parade for race 5 at Oaklawn. Now going the 6 furlongs, maiden 16. We move on to number 4 in here. That is New Dice with David Cabrera aboard.
Yeah, and we passed over horses would be one of the favorites in here. This one seemed like a bit of a price coming from out of town.
Here's number 5, Shack's Way, coming off of a long layoff.
Surprised this one is favored. Maybe it'll change over the 3 Epic Adventure because not very fast, but does cut back in distance and drop for Brad Cox.
Bornazian looks to be speed, possibly.
I agree. It feels like, Shack's Way could have speed as well because those were some quick paces, but I agree, should be a bit forward.
As we check out number 8, Fun and Funny.
Yeah, as a long shot, it would have to get a lot faster, very fast.
Yeah. A little bit more funny than fast. As number 9 is Bodie's Light. Turn back and back to dirt for this son of Bodemeister.
Yeah, this is another horse that's got at least a little speed, but not enough speed to be close in this race. Coming synthetic. I guess the synthetic to dirt angle isn't a bad angle in cutting back.
Number 10, Cascade King, making his 11th start of his career for Alan Milligan.
Yeah, he's had a lot of chances, and I misspoke. The 10 is the one who has speed. He should be forward, but as you say, Maggie, so many chances, a 4-year-old against some 3-year-olds, though.
That's an interesting thing we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
But number 11, Papa Jimmy, is one of those 3-year-olds, too. First-time starter.
First full from an unraised dam, not taking much money.
Well, if you want to play today's races, make sure you do so with a Naira Bets account. As always, we have that $200 deposit match bonus for new members when they use promo code MATCH200. Make sure you check out NairaBets.com. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime with your very own Naira Bets account. Well, for all things Oaklawn, we need to check in the guru of Hot Springs. That is Mr. Jonathan Kinchin, who is standing by in his home. Look at that trophy, JK. Looks nice.
You have a trophy that looks kind of like this, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, my husband wouldn't let me put it next to the ballerina trophy on the mantle, so mine's elsewhere.
Doesn't seem fair to me. I appreciate the compliment for being the guru of Hot Springs. I think I'm just actually geographically the closest to Hot Springs, so therefore I get that name. Look, I'm going to show you how much of a guru I am here. I'm going to give you a 9-1, or excuse me, a 15-1 shot that I'm not sure if the horse is going to win. I'm sure Brad Cox is going to win this race with the 5, but I think there's some interesting angles with the 4. The 4 new dice doesn't particularly look like he's like a superstar by any means, but he did run in a maiden special weight last time after running in maiden claiming races, so he's protected. They protected him last time, which I thought was a little bit of a sign of confidence that maybe he had turned the corner. Now, he shows up here at Oaklawn in a much tougher circuit, and he's not in protected anymore. He'd be in deep water facing maiden special weights here. But the 4th place runner from that race at Sam Houston did come back and run a very fast number in a maiden special weight. So I think that race might be a little bit better than it looks on paper. He feels like the type of horse that's going to tease me with the lead at about the 8th pole and then start going backwards. But I think that he is at least some value in here when the 3 and the 5 are the likely winners and taking all the money.
I think JK just likes him because he ran at Sam Houston before.
I think he's just mad because you called him the guru of Oaklawn, but, you know, better him than me. I am very surprised, and I haven't looked at Will Pays, that the 3 is not favored, Epic Adventure. I mean, speed figures rule the board here, and I'm not saying they're the be-all and end-all. They're obviously a very important factor because no matter how, what kind of trips you had, whatever it is, you're still going to be fast enough to win. This horse ran a 60 buyer last time. The other horses in this race are struggling, basically, except for the 10, to run in the 40s. And I'm not saying it means he's going to win, but horses like this, with this kind of figure edge, are usually favored.
I mean, is this just connections with the 5 as number 3, Epic Adventure? Will likely go off the post-time favorite, possibly, as he's favored in doubles, though.
Which one is favored?
The 3.
Oh, the 3 is favored.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. That's
right.
Yeah, that's what we always look at. And I think that's a point to people at home. You know, a lot of people, you'll hear complaints that horses will drop down in the late stages. And, oh, boy, that horse was 5-1 going the gate. He went off at 3-1. If you look at the Will Pays, what the doubles are paying, you can usually determine whether or not your horse is going to sit at that 5-1, go up, or come down a lot. So it's not always such a mystery.
Right. Now, in regards to number 5, Shack's Way, who is currently 9-5, so drifting up steadily there. Turning back off of that layoff, we haven't seen him in, nearly 9 months, nearly 10 months. Did no running despite being the favorite in his debut in a maiden special weight.
I mean, he dueled in that race. But, you know, here's the other thing, Maggie. And this horse, Brad Cox entered this horse as a first-time starter at a mile, 2 turns, and then a mile and a 16th. If he thought this horse was a proficient sprinter, he probably would have sprinted this horse. And I know a lot of people hear me talk about cutting back in distance. But this horse is cutting back in distance off a severe layoff. And you almost wonder if the horse might need a race. Maybe Brad Cox is trying something new. And horses will fool even the best of trainers, even Eclipse Award-winning trainers. But he never suggested that he wanted to run this horse short.
I agree with you. I think you're taking the worst of it, given the connections. I mean, from what I can tell, he does look sharp. He looks good out there on the racetrack, but I would not be taking 9-5 on this horse. As number 10, Andy, Cascade King. He's had his chances, but you talked about Beyer speed figures, and he's run somewhat close to the 3, probably the closest of the lot.
No, and he's 5-1, 9-2. He's somewhat value, and we've talked about this at Oaklawn because Steve Asmussen, Brad Cox, you'll see situations where there's more money going on jockeys and trainers, and that lifts horses up. Because the reality is the 3 should be a heavy favorite. And I agree with you. I don't like the 10 isn't the kind of horse you and I would ever run to bet on. There's all the chances. The 10, but the 10 should be second choice in this race.
Yeah. I do agree with you there, and Rocco Bowen will be aboard. I believe he won his first riding title at Indiana Grand over the summer/fall. A horse that
I didn't follow the last week. It was a little tight going in. And I fell asleep on that.
I mean, do you give any kind of look to number 1, Hunky Dunn here for Donnie Von Hemmel, who is dropping in class, needs to. I mean, has not shown up in those maiden special weights at Remington Park. He's a big price on the board at 24-1.
Well, the question becomes how strong is a maiden special weight at Remington Park?
Exactly.
And it's hard because without knowing, and you and I aren't following Remington Park very closely, are there maiden specials necessarily that far from the lower level claiming races? Maybe there isn't that much of it. It's kind of like state bred races.
Right.
Sometimes state bred races, the maiden specials and the maiden 40 claimers are horses will interchange between them, especially as they go on.
Especially this time of year.
I'm never going to knock a price, Maggie. So if somebody wants to bet a price, I could, dropping for what it's worth. Over the last 5 years, Donnie Von Hemmel is 10 for 63, 16% with a $1.39 ROI, going from maiden special weights to maiden claimers on the dirt.
Now, as far as racing at Oaklawn today, what have you seen as far as the track has been playing? I mean, it seems fair?
I have no idea. I apologize. I've been a little tied
What
up
have you been doing in your office down here at Aqueduct? Come on, Andy. Don't you have
working
all
on
the...
Thursday's
I'm
card,
kidding.
working on next Saturday at Oaklawn, and listening to the Grateful Dead.
You are always at least 4 days ahead of schedule. I got to give you credit. I am the procrastinator. I sit and do it the day of. No, I'm kidding.
Well, different people. I'm very I'm fidgety, and I like having the days off knowing that I don't have a lot of work to do during them.
Yet you also don't have 2 children to deal with.
That's correct. Well, that you know of.
This is true, that you know of. Vic Stauffer with the call of race number 5 at Oaklawn Park.
They're at the post. They're off. Shack's Way wins the break, goes to the front from Epic Adventure away second. Bornasian comes away running third, then Fun and Funny, Bodie's Like, Cascade King, and Papa Jimmy in the center. At the rail is New Dice, and the early trailer is Hunky Dunn. It is Shack's Way off the long layoff, sharp past the half-mile pole. He's built up a 2-length lead on Bodie's Light, Epic Adventure at the rail, Bornasian between horses, and Papa Jimmy 4 deep. New Dice has 5 lengths to make up. He's just inside of Fun and Funny and Cascade King, and Hunky Dunn is still the trailer, and Shack's Way is still the leader. Shack's Way galloping along smartly, 3/4 of a length in front of Bodie's Light in the second. Then Papa Jimmy to the outside. He's an all-in third. At the rail goes Epic Adventure. Shack's Way continues to get away now at the top of the stretch, and Shack's Way is just galloping far in front. Shack's Way past mid-stretch. He's now 5 lengths in front of Bodie's Light in second, Cascade King and Papa Jimmy, but Shack's Way is just much too good. A 16th out. He is hand-ridden by Florent Giroux, maybe Cascade King for second, Shack's Way for first. That's about as easy as you can win a horse race. He won by 6. Cascade King was second. Bodie's Light third, maybe New Dice for fourth.
Money was right here, Andy. Shack's Way, non-competitive as a 3-year-old, returns as a 4-year-old, and I mean, it just looks like he's in a completely different race. It looks like he's in a morning workout relative to the rest of the field here.
This was ridiculous. I mean, this horse was basically a winner every step of the way, and just galloped off, and that's why Brad Cox horses are short. And it's hard, I'm gonna bet against horses like this. By the way, a big gallop out from Jonathan's 4, finished 4th. He outran his odds, so I give him credit for that. I wasn't joking. He actually had a big gallop out, but I don't think it mattered. Here, they were beating this horse the proverbial ran around a few more times.
Common Canter, as we'll see, wondering if he got claimed, dropping down to the 16 here, but congratulations to Steve Landers Racing LLC. Florent Giroux continues to pad that lead up top the riders standings, as we have one more here at the Big A for you. It is a maiden claimer, as we will see if War of Thrones can get the job done. His second start for trainer Michelle Nevin here on America's Day at the Races.
Good Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Somomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back.
Good Magic in a good-looking performance. Cruises home in the BetFan.com Haskell Invitational.
Good Magic's in front.
Nobody wants to fall into a safety net, but when adversity or hardship presents itself, it beats the alternative. Since 1943, the Jockey Club Safety Net Foundation has been serving those individuals and families in need across every facet of the thoroughbred industry. Help us continue to be the safety net and catch those most in need. Visit tjcfoundation.org to learn more.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anytime, anywhere with your Naira Bets account. As we have live racing coming at you from Oaklawn Park, we'll join in with the fairgrounds in a bit. We have the nightcap here from the Big A, but it was done in a common canter. Shack's Way off the long layoff, well prepared by Brad Cox. He went straight to lead Andy here, turning back in distance and never looked back.
And for those that say horses' drops always drop, this horse was 2-1 early in the race and went up to 5-2. So the odds went up, and when the horse looked like it couldn't lose, this was as easy a win as you'll see.
Yeah, disappointing effort from the 3 Epic Adventure, who did go off as the post-time favorite, as we have a few more coming up from Oaklawn Park. Shack's Way over Cascade King. Professional maiden, 11 starts, still can't quite get to the winner's circle over Bodie's Light, and that trifecta returns $187. 6th race will be coming up, as that caps the late pick 4, but also we have a great promotion going on with Oaklawn Park from here at the Big A with Naira Bets, and it's the easiest way to earn $10. Just bet 50 on Aqueduct and 50 on Oaklawn through Naira Bets app, and all qualifying players earn a $10 bonus no matter if you win or lose. Do it today and visit nairabets.com for details on that 50-50 promotion. Back here at the Big A, the nightcap, the last race, we are maiden 25 New York breds going the mile, and we do see favoritism on a horse facing New York breds for the first time on the outside. That's number 9, Bedazzling, comes by way of Tampa Bay Downs, and he is going turf to dirt. And Andy, that last dirt effort 2 back makes him a legitimate player here.
I agree. I mean, I guess you have to ask yourself if you're somebody that thinks, does form from Tampa Bay transfer down here, because that race does make the horse logical, draws well towards the outside. There is a rider switch, I believe, though. I heard them call Chad Summers' names.
Yeah, Manny Franco.
Manny Franco riding.
Will be on Bedazzling as you are checking out Bedazzling. I thought this was a great effort, Andy, because he was well back. He was very, he wasn't well back. He was very wide in the first turn. He lost more ground than anybody, and he was very game on making an early move, too.
Yeah, no, I thought he ran fine. The problem that I have is here's the horse who won the race. In his prior 2 races, he had run 29 and 48 buyers. Danny ran a 57. The horse who finished 3rd came back and ran 12 buyer points lower. So there's a possibility that's not a number that you want to see be predictive going forward. And this horse really ran a number in the mid to high 40s, be a bigger price. Now, looking at doubles, he projects to probably be the 4th choice behind the 6 Scotty, who will be favored over the 2 War of Thrones and the 1 Pollard's Day.
Now, War of Thrones in his second start here, I thought he ran well. First time out, it's tough to go a mile at first asking. He did it most of the way on the front end, kind of battling out, and we saw Swinging Sticks, who had experience, and he just came and got him late. Yeah,
do you worry the 1st or the 5 could have speed? If he gets pinned on the inside as speed, I don't think that'll be very good for his chances, but I completely agree, Maggie. He ran
Not
very well.
the way that the racetrack has been playing, as we do kick things off with number 1. That's Pollard's Day. Lasix blinkers on for a start for Jeremiah Engelhardt.
I like the Trevor McCarthy double with Pollard's Day, who I think dropping down is going to really help this horse's chances, and I like his outside trip in here. I think he fits very well here.
Stretch out, second-time starter, 99 George with the blinkers on.
Yeah, coupled because of the marriage rule, a long shot on its own.
Breaking from the inside is number 2, War of Thrones, currently 9-2. Surprised at the price at all?
And yeah, but the horse will probably drop down a little bit from there. It looks like the 2nd choice in doubles. So the logical speed, we'll see if we can get the right trip.
As number 3 is out, number 4, 8 weeks long. This one for Mark Hennig.
Drops down and goes turf to dirt. Not really a dirt pedigree, though, and the 1 dirt race was lousy. Mark Hennig very live, though.
Very. As number 5 is a first-time starter, Up for Adventure, a son of Upstart for Ray Handel.
Ray Handel looking for his 2nd win today. We'll see, as you say, tough for firsters at a mile.
Scotty is coming back out of that Swinging Sticks race, the same with War of Thrones.
But I think we both agree that War of Thrones ran the better race, but maybe Scotty works out the right outside trip today. But of the 2, War of Thrones, even though finishing behind, ran better.
Litter Box is another one stretching out and adding blinkers for Ralph D'Alessandro.
If you have a cat, you might like this horse more than I do.
That's what I wonder. Do cat people that always bet on cat horses bet Litter Box, though?
It's a real question. Maybe we should have run a poll before the show to find out.
I did. I asked on Twitter the first time this horse ran.
Did you?
Most people said absolutely not. And I would agree with him. Number 8, Lou Loves the River.
Okay, I think I should go home after that discussion. Lou Loves the River will be a long shot if it gets it done. It seemed we'll have to improve off the 2 races.
For Jimmy Ryerson is Bedazzling, getting a solo warm-up there, as we'll see if that 57 figure holds up here.
And I want to say for people that you see the trainer change. Mike Deeney had this horse previously, and Chad Summers has this horse now. The understanding is that Chad Summers has been sort of working the assistant for Mike Deeney with this horse in New York.
That is
and they've been transferred to him, I guess, because Mike Deeney isn't here really. So I don't see it as a significant trainer change, except in this case, the horse was with Mike Deeney, I assume, at Tampa. But Chad has been working for Mike for, I don't know how long, but I believe a period of time.
Yeah, I mean, Chad tends to saddle a lot of people's horses from out of town, but Mike Deeney is one of the guys that he often does. As we'll check in with Jonathan Kinchin, and JK has some thoughts about the 1A 99 George for your good friends at Matisse Racing.
Yeah, and I agree with Andy. A long shot here, but I do root for this horse. I was actually at the Saratoga sale, the Fasig Tip to New York bred sale, when Paul and Duke Matisse bought this horse for $20,000. So I'm rooting just for that. It's like just kind of a fun story if I was there the day. But like you said, a long shot in here. The price is reflecting the chances, I believe, of the 1 Pollard's Day. I think the 2 War of Thrones is interesting, and Andy mentioned it, and Maggie as well. The concern here is the inside, right? Being stuck on the inside, but that wasn't really a concern for Hello Hot Rod the race before, because if the rider will stay off of the rail from the inside, break running away from there, get off the rail, then you kind of negate the fact that you're down in there. Now, is Kendrick going to do that, or is he going to get stuck down on the inside? I can't predict which one's going to happen, but if he can get off the rail, I think this horse is the most likely winner in here. If he gets stuck down in there, it's going to be tough to try to work a way out, and then a horse like the 9 Bedazzling is going to end up getting the trip in here that you want. This is a rider's race. I know we say that a lot in this game, but it depends on what Kendrick does. If he can get off the rail, I think War of Thrones is your winner.
All right.
One thing we know, and I think Jonathan would agree with this, if the Matisses liked the chances of 99 George, they probably wouldn't have ridden a rider they knew would be coupled, in all likelihood, with somebody else in this race, sort of randomly, because they're betters. And one thing you don't like are entries. So my guess is that even though they have the luck of Jonathan being at the sale, and Jonathan would agree with this, it's unlikely this horse will improve.
Well, it is a fun experience, especially when you go and you try to bid on a horse, and being a part of it is thrilling.
I go to sales
so
to
do
drink.
I. And the one time Tom bought a horse, he did it without me, and I couldn't find him, and I saw him signing the ticket, and I said, "What the heck did you just do?"
Well, the thing is, the
With our
drinks are expensive, but they're not as overpriced as the horses.
Correct. This is very true. As we see horses going into the gate here for this nightcap, 99. Wait, is that 99 George? Yes. He's a little bit reluctant to go in today, as we do see 5-2 as they head in on number 9, Bedazzling. As he makes his first start against New York Reds. Will he get the job done here in the nightcap? We throw it up to John Imbrial for the call.
Waiting for Scotty, Lou Loves the River, and Bedazzling. They're all in.
We do see number 7 backing out here, Andy, as rider Pablo Morales jumped off, is back on, and we'll see good old litter box loading back into the gate. As
I'm staying out of this one. I can only get in trouble here.
You want to scuff up some of that dirt. To bear. Anyway, I'm not even going to go down that line, as we will send it back out to John Imbrial with this call, as we do see Litterbox loading back in, and he has the call of the nightcap.
Moving back in, and we're set. And they're off. There's Scotty going for the lead. War of Thrones from that inside post position is now moving up. War of Thrones and Scotty, and they're right together. Up for Adventure is next in third. Pollard's Day now moving up a spot from fourth. Bedazzling is next in fifth. 8 weeks long. Rallies at the rail from sixth. That is Litterbox, who's racing in seventh, followed by Lou Loves the River in eighth. And farther back, it's 99 George, who trails the field in ninth. The quarter went in 25-1. War of Thrones challenged on the inside by 8 weeks long, and on the outside by Scotty. So it's 3 of them across the track for the lead. And just in behind is Pollard's Day, who's racing in fourth. Right alongside is Up for Adventure in fifth. And then it is Bedazzling in sixth. To his outside is the gray, Lou Loves the River, who is gaining some ground now. Then Litterbox, and farther back, 99 George. The half went in 50 seconds, and they're going around the turn. War of Thrones and Scotty, and here's Lou Loves the River now, ranging up on the outside. Scotty has come away with a narrow lead. Lou Loves the River is now racing in second as War of Thrones drops out of it. Passed there by Up for Adventure, and then it is Litterbox and Bedazzling. The field comes into the stretch, and it is Scotty in front. Lou Loves the River, all out in second. Up for Adventure is next in third, then Bedazzling and Litterbox. It is Scotty in front. Scotty's got a 4-length lead as they come on for the finish, and Scotty will win it here fairly decisively. Scotty won by almost 4. Lou Loves the River was second, then Bedazzling and Up for Adventure.
Scotty gets the job done. A good ride by Eric Cancel. He was confident with his Jeremiah Engelhardt training.
Yeah, he had much more speed than he had previously. He was up on the lead. War of Thrones, Kendrick got that horse off the rail, but just really had nothing. But Scotty dominated this bunch. Just much the best winner. Not a terrible performance by the firster, Up for Adventure. Finished, I think, 4th, maybe?
Yes.
Big improvement, by the way, for the long shot. The 8.
Yeah, Lou Loves the River.
Yeah, Lou Loves the River. Made a lot better.
As we will check out our first race as they are heading to the gate here from the fairgrounds. It is their late pick 4 that we're covered. We have most of the races, 3 of them actually, 3 of the 4, on the turf.
I like the 6 Ife, the favorite here, but I will be rooting for the house horse, the 3 Flashing Red, who, even if she runs last, a very great claim by her husband, who claimed this horse, who had never been on the turf, went right to the turf and won 2 of 3 races. This is a big step up in class here. And there is
I mean,
speed.
She is taking money I don't really understand, and she's a bit one pace, so hopefully Adam does have her aggressively handled and gets her out of the gate and in position as we want to welcome in John G. Dooley with the call of race 6 from the fairgrounds.
It's all set. And they're off. Russian Mafia was just a beat slow to go. Good start toward the inside for West Bank Baby with Alter's Award. Right there is Flashing Red, front rank. You like this, and Kettle Valley strides up on the outside. But for Mitchell Merle, it's West Bank Baby, the overall leader. West Bank Baby in front. Leads here by 3/4 length to Flashing Red. Kettle Valley 3 wide out to the stretch. Alter's Reward is a ground-saving 4th. You like this in 5th. Russian Mafia is running 2nd to last. And a slow start has left Aoife with some catching up to do and has dropped back to be a remote last at the 5.5. It's West Bank Baby's lead, the opening quarter in 24.35 seconds. West Bank Baby generates the pace, leads by 3/4 length to Flashing Red, who's second close up with Kettle Valley out deep on the course for James Graham. Alter's Award looks to gain close to the near side, 3/4 length to You Like This, running in 5th. Then comes Russian Mafia, and still 6 lengths astern to Aoife, who remains last as West Bank Baby leads the Distaff Turf half mile in 50.09 seconds. They go to the far turn. West Bank Baby still being tracked by Flashing Red, 3 furlongs from home, with Kettle Valley third on the outside. Alter's Award is 4th. You Like This in the blue cap. Russian Mafia is 6th from leader. West Bank Baby, who takes a 3/4 length lead to Flashing Red at the top of the stretch. And Aoife's last. They straighten up. 3/4, 1 minute 15.83 seconds. West Bank Baby, Flashing Red, Alter's Award looks to move up the inside. Charging now as You Like This. Russian Mafia, Kettle Valley, and Aoife. 1 furlong to go. Here's You Like This. Moving up, Russian Mafia between horses, and West Bank Baby is battling hard. It's You Like This. Russian Mafia's moved through for Santo Sanjor for the win. Russian Mafia gunned down You Like This in the home run. West Bank Baby 3rd, and Alta's Award finished 4th.
Russian Mafia narrowly defeated in her last start, kind of similar type of trip here, Andy, and she proved best while battling gamely in between horses, but interesting trip for the beaten favorite.
Yeah, we'll get to that start in just a moment for those wondering about it, but this was a nice stretch run, and actually give some credit to the Steve Aspen, or Tom Amos, our buddy, first time on the turf. This horse held on a lot better, I think, than we would have expected in this race, but at the end, as you say, this horse, Russian Mafia, comfortable between horses, 2nd straight, excellent ride she's gotten, but as far as Aoife, I believe? Aoife, you'll notice at the start, the gate opens, and watch the number 6 horse. All but one come out, and this is not a horse that broke, and you can roll it for a little while, guys. She didn't break a few legs slow. She broke a city block behind these horses.
She completely dwelt, and when that happens, some make it a habit, and it's hard to break them from that habit. She will be put on the starters list, and her trainer in here, that's Matt Scherer, he's going to have to do a lot of work with this now 7-year-old mare.
No, I agree. And it's you feel bad for people to bet. We've all been there, you know. I was once waiting a long time to bet on a horse at Saratoga. And I was with an old girlfriend of mine at the track, and I told her, I said, if this horse breaks okay, I think we'll be good. And we're sitting in a box watching the race, and I bet a lot of money, and they're going about 100 yards, and I didn't say anything. And she turned to me and said, has your horse come out of the gate yet? She's a future trip handicapper. I said, no, he hasn't.
Nope, still standing there. As we'll put a bow on this Aqueduct card, Sunday card, as we did see Scotty get the job done for trainer Jeremiah Engelhardt, Eric Cancel in the irons for Highlander Training Center. As what did he end up going off as here, Andy? I mean, he won like he should have been 6-5.
What was he, the 6? 7-2.
7-2.
There were 3 7-2 shots. It was a pretty spread board.
If you hit that exacta, though, you were rewarded 33-1 on Lou Loves the River, coming in second, $119, $1 exacta.
And yeah, I bet okay. There were not. I mean, once again, you look at this, the parlay about not even $20, $170. 5 times that is 4 1/4 times 2,000. I mean, the parlay for $2 is not really that much over $2,000, and it paid once again over twice the parlay. The late pick 5 here is the best bet in racing. That I'm convinced of.
No, it really is. As well, we didn't see Aoife wearing those colors break very well, but we'll see if 10 Strike can get a better trip this time around here in Oaklawn Parks. Their 6th race coming up, Mountain 16th, claiming 7,500. We do see 4-5 on number 5, Rocco's Wheel. This one owned and trained by leading trainer Steve Asmussen.
Wow, that seems like an awfully short price in this race, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the horse has a layover fig last time out. I get that, but how reliable is it considering the prior races weren't that strong and moving up? I don't know. I think there were other options here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean,
not that you can't win. But
no, I mean, you go back and you look at the race off the layoff before when he was going from November to February. That's not as long as this August layoff, but still one fresh at least as we are checking out the post parade here. Number 1 and 2 went by. Number 3 is Fort Ridge.
Yeah, the 1 should be the speed. I think the 2 is a player in this race and might be much tougher. The 3 looks like a long shot. Fort Ridge. Exemplar, I think, is very dangerous.
Talking about layoffs, number 4, Chicory Blue, as he'll also cut back a bit in distance and switch surfaces.
I mean, the reality is he has some decent races against some better horses. I don't think he's impossible.
I don't either. I thought it was kind of an interesting move in dropping in class, as we are going to check out your current 4-5 favorite next. Rocco's Wheel coming back off a win, 4-5 at Lone Star Park. How does that race stack up against this one, though?
I don't know, Mag. You know, that was a big number. I get it. But where's he been for almost 6 months since that race? Protecting the horse so they can run for the waiver, but moving up in class. I'm skeptical. This horse is bet like he cannot lose.
Another one protected here is Flashy Meister. First off, the claim for trainer Norm McKnight.
And first time on the dirt as well. Looking at the pedigree, I didn't see anything that suggested from the dam side the horse should move up on dirt.
There was one winner on the dirt.
Yes, there was.
So there wasn't much running on the dirt, period.
Right.
Number 7, Tapator, another one off of a long layoff.
Yeah, I mean, this horse has just kind of lost a decent form it had since being claimed away from Robertino Diodoro.
Yeah, as number 8, Wagon Boss, talking about claims. Randy Matthews picked up this one from his last start at Turfway.
Yeah, off the claim on the dirt, this trainer is 7 for 67 in the last 5 years with a 79-cent ROI as he goes synthetic to dirt. But he does have figures on the dirt that are fast enough to win here. I'm not saying the 5 Rocco's Wheel can't win because he can. His last race was good. But maybe there's a big tip. He's working well, but I'm shocked that he's an overwhelming favorite in this race.
Go back to the last race. We were scratching our heads with that big winner, and we thought maybe they were just betting on connections. Are they just betting on connections here? Doesn't matter.
Maybe they are. I'm going to say I'm not surprised the last one won because of the field it was in. I think if you look at this field, the last race was a maiden race where there wasn't really anybody that looked that strong. Whereas this race, you have established form from quite a few horses. Why is this horse a significantly shorter price than a horse like the 2, who's coming in from out of town and dropping in class? Not bad. I'm going to be interested in what Jonathan has to say because I think this 5 is way overbet.
Well, quickly before we get to Jonathan, if you want to bet this race at Oaklawn, make sure you do so with your NYRA Bets account. As always, we have that $200 deposit match bonus. And it's for new members. Make sure you use Match 200 when signing up and earn that $200 deposit match after your first deposit. Bet any track, anytime, anywhere with your NYRA Bets account. JK, as we will take a look at this race here, 7,500, Mount is 16th. Do you like the current even money favorite here, or do you think Exemplar is being overlooked, JK?
Yeah, I'm going to try to beat the 5 Rocco's Wheel, but if we're playing the game of why is this horse favored, I think the narrative is a couple things. One is it is Steve Asmussen. Steve owns the horse as well, which I think a lot of people think that, now he can make his own decisions. He can be aggressive. This horse comes in off an extremely long layoff, and to be getting bet like that at this lower level, like Andy said, there has to be a story. This horse has to be training well. And you notice the horse was training down in Sam Houston. So it's not like at Sam Houston they don't have $5,000, $7,500 claiming races. They couldn't run down there. It feels like that he brought this horse up here to win a bigger purse and hopefully get the horse claimed at a level that he feels like the horse can win at. So I wouldn't be shocked if the horse wins. I'm going to try to beat the horse with the 8 Wagon Boss. Like you mentioned, this horse, Andy mentioned, this horse has huge numbers comparative to this group back at Indiana. And if this horse runs any of those races back at Indiana on the dirt, this horse could be hard to beat in here as well. Did run on the poly last time, or the synthetic last time at Turfway Park. But I trust the connections here in terms of 10 Strike Racing claiming this horse. And with this in mind, I know Marshall was very aggressive in claiming horses to bring to Oaklawn to have a good meet. And I think Wagon Boss will run well if he can run by Steve Asmussen's Rocco's Wheel.
I got to say, I love what I'm seeing from Wagon Boss out on the racetrack, as we will take a look at the prices from Fairgrounds. Russian Mafia returns $13.60 as Why Like This rounds things off for the exacta. And just so everybody knows, there was no refund for Aoife standing in the gate. She literally just did that on her own.
Right. People should understand that if they find that somebody in the gate crew has been holding the horse and they happen to prevent the horse from getting its best chance, they'll refund the money. And it's something we take very seriously at NYRA, and it's to the bettor's benefit that you do it. It's never good for us to refund money, but you don't want to refund the money if it's wrong. And if a horse just stands in the gate and doesn't get out, and unfortunately it's happened to all of us, that's
right.
Just the way the game goes, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I just want to say, people should realize that if the horse did it on its own, people would say, well, the horse didn't, you should refund the money. Well, what about the people that cashed winning bets? They're going to get punished if the other horse gets refunded because the price will be much lower, and those people shouldn't be punished. That's just the way the game goes, and you have to play fair for both sides, winners and losers.
Yep, as we are betting on horses, not the gate crew, so that's how it goes. Is number 2, Exemplar, makes that trainer change to Cipriano Contreras, who I found, Andy, has good numbers. Off the trainer change, dirt routes, he's 4 for 17.
No, I think this horse is very dangerous in here. And, I don't have some numbers on how Hawthorne shippers go to Oaklawn, and it's something that maybe we should be looking at more, and sometimes it matters. But, I prefer, and I think you'll agree, to take everything as a horse-by-horse approach. And this horse ran against sort of comparable horses at Hawthorne, ran as well as other horses. I guess the worry with this horse is kind of lacks speed, but it's not as though the favorite has a lot of speed either. Now, maybe if he's really running well, he'll be more forward.
Yeah, that's the problem with this race. It was really tough to identify who was going to be on the lead.
Isn't the one just supposed to go? I mean, I assume Cabrera from the rail stretching out a little bit, just go with this horse and try to wire the field. I don't particularly like Pop Life. He looks a little slow, but I think if you want to take a shot with a horse, why can't this horse wire the field?
This is true. I mean, last time I think he ran a little bit better than it kind of looked because the pace completely fell apart.
Agreed.
But then again, it came back a slow type of race. The problem with Pop Life is his numbers and his races just don't stack up with the rest of the field numbers and class-wise.
I agree. On the other hand, and I don't particularly love him either, but, the argument is, why do people, and Jonathan would agree with this, why do we sometimes bet horses are too slow? Because we think their trip is going to improve their performance, and it also hurts the other horses, right? If a horse is sort of loafing on the lead, it hurts horse trying to close, so they may not run their best races, and this horse may be able to run better, and that's why, a lot of people see a horse run a big number, and it comes back, and they say it bounced. It just doesn't get the same advantageous circumstances. I'm impressed with Jonathan, with Wagon Boss and his friend Marshall Graham's Trinstrike Racing. This is a base difference between Jonathan and I. He's nice to his friends, and I'm not. You know,
That's not true. You love Seth.
But I pick against his horses all the time.
All the time?
I picked against that one today that won 3-5.
Well, there you go.
I get a lot of abuse for picking against them. No, I get none, actually. Your real friends
You'd
don't. Jonathan, your
rather
real
not
friends don't
pick them.
abuse you when you make fun of their horses.
Well, Andy, if you owned any horses, I think we're friends. I'd pick against you all the time.
I appreciate that. You know what? I'd prefer that, actually.
So would I. I feel too much pressure. People pick Tom's horses.
No, my talking horse's counterpart, Anthony Fields, picks every one of Tom's horses. So.
Yeah, well, anyway. They are loading in the gate.
Favorites.
We will see those 10 strike colors as we going in last as we throw it out to Vic Stauffer with the call.
They're off. Wagon Boss breaks beautifully. He's not being sent, though, as the Bug Boy takes hold, so Rocco's Wheel's going to make the lead. Flashy Meister and Wagon Boss now second and third. Then Chicory Blue, Tapeter, and Exemplar at the rail. Fort Ridge is the gray, second to last, and the trailer is Pop Life. To the backstretch with Rocco's Wheel and Wagon Boss 1-2. Rocco's Wheel, a measured half-length in front of Wagon Boss in second. Flashy Meister settles in third, and he's 2 from the front. Tapeter is 3 deep, and Chicory Blue is between horses. They're all about 2 from the lead. Then it's a gap of 4 lengths back to Fort Ridge and Exemplar, and far behind the field, 12 lengths last, is Pop Life. So here's an early move from Chicory Blue all the way up to take over the front. Chicory Blue has put ahead in front. Wagon Boss has to go with him to maintain position there between horses, and Rocco's Wheel stays right at the rail. These 3 going into the far turn. Then comes Tapeter. Flashy Meister has dropped out. Flashy Meister is back and passed by Fort Ridge, then Exemplar, and Pop Life didn't have any running today as they run around the far turn. Chicory Blue and Rocco's Wheel. Chicory Blue ahead in front. Rocco's Wheel counter punches and retakes the lead. Wagon Boss is 2 from the front. Outside of him, it's Tapeter. At the top of the stretch, Rocco's Wheel back in front. Chicory Blue is alongside in second. Wagon Boss 3 deep and 2 from the front. Tapeter is outside of him, and here comes Wagon Boss. And Wagon Boss has taken a short lead, but Tapeter is going right with him, and Wagon Boss ducked out into Tapeter. These 2 are trading punches and shoulder to shoulder. Tapeter outside, Wagon Boss inside, Chicory Blue, Exemplar, Tapeter and Wagon Boss, Tapeter. That was a slugfest to the wire. Tapeter and Wagon Boss, Chicory Blue third, Exemplar fourth.
Yes, Vic, completely right about that. We'll see if they take a look at this, Andy. I mean, the top 2 finishers exchanging punches all the way down to the line is number 7, Tapeter, your eventual unofficial winner. He wanted to lug in bad here, Andy.
Yeah, well, it seems like
And
the 8
yeah.
kind of the rider straightened the 8 out, and you know I think the Morale's doing whatever he could, and then he ducked out into the 7. But I think if anything happened, it was done by the number 8.
Yeah.
So the 7's probably fine, and you know got a perfect trip. Nice job by De La Cruz. This horse refound that form coming off the layoff. And you know, it's funny. In watching this race, both you and I were saying, what is the rider of the number 4 doing, Chicory Blue? The way, you know, sort of that massive middle move. Well, meanwhile, the horse completely put away the number 5 Rocco's Wheel and buried that one. So I don't think you can fault the ride. And my 2-horse Exemplar made a big run, but kind of just flattened out the last 16th of a mile.
It was a strange race,
Yeah.
but I mean, as you looked and you said it coming, approaching the quarter pole, you said, who is the 7? It looked as though Tapeter was going best.
Well, you know, you see the 5 and 8 are going, the 2 horses, and you know, Rocco's Wheel and Wagon Boss, and then the number 4, Chicory Blue, makes that big move. So you're waiting, you're thinking, well, who's the horse that's going to benefit from it? You see this other horse creeping up, and you watch enough races, you realize that horse is sitting in a perfect spot. As it turned out, worked out. Big price. Nice job.
And congratulations and a job well done training-wise to William Martin for getting this horse back off of the 7-month layoff, as we will wait to make sure they don't put up an inquiry or an objection sign here to get you those official prices.
We should also say Chicory Blue actually ran pretty well here. We talked about that horse.
Interesting.
Well, the horse wasn't impossible on
Right.
paper and made that sort of big middle move. And at the end of the day, I don't want to fault the rider because they weren't going that fast and want to get the horse in the race.
And she did just that. Kelsey Haar aboard Chicory Blue, finishing 3rd at 37-1. Well, it's still unofficial, but there's no inquiry sign posted. But Shug McGahee, he is gearing up for a big, well, prep to the Kentucky Derby, road to the Kentucky Derby. As he's back on it, we'll see if he can get another win in the run for the Roses. Since Orb, as greatest honor, it was impressive in taking the Holy Bull. We'll have more on America's Day at the Races.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms, has sired over 70% winners from starters. His top runners include Pennsylvania Derby winner Math Wizard, graded stakes winner Recruiting Ready, juvenile stakes winner and multiple graded stakes placed South Bend, and these recent stakes winners and stakes performers.
To get there, but Kanani will win it.
Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Be a part of the racing action Saturdays at Aqueduct with live money contests available online through Naira Bets. A $300 buy-in adds $200 to your contest account, while the other $100 funds the cash prize pool paid through 10th place. Follow along with the races on America's Day at the Races while keeping track of your leaderboard standings on Naira Bets. After the contest, your bankroll and prize winnings are shifted back into your Naira Bets account to start betting or withdraw. Register to play today at nairabets.com/contests.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races here on Fox Sports 2. Maggie Wolfendale, Andy Serling, Jonathan Kinchin taking you the rest of the way through the Oaklawn card as well as the fairgrounds, as we do have a post parade coming up for you in race number 7 for the Louisiana bred filly, 6 furlongs. We kick things off with number 2, Clearly Sailing. She just went by. Here's number 3, Rue La La.
Yeah, Rue La La seems like a player in this race. Getting back to a fast track should possibly help.
Half Glamorous gets away from Big Time, who is undefeated. And this one dropping in a stakes company.
I agree. This horse who's the even money favorite is the horse to beat in here and looks like speed. But there is some other pace, potentially.
To Kate Time goes out for Steve Flint, another one coming out of stakes races.
No, I don't think this horse is impossible. The race 3 back is okay, and even last time. So I thought that Kate Time was a player.
Rounding out the field, first off, the claim for trainer Ray Collada is Lil Adieu.
Claim from a high percentage trainer. You want to try that again? Little.
I
don't even. Whatever. I'll let you handle that. I'm going to let John Dooley handle that. This horse would have to improve off the claim, and tough trainer to claim from.
Yeah, Ron Fauché doing very well at the fairgrounds this year. He is battling atop the trainers' standings with Tom Amos, our good friend Tom Amos.
Yeah, he'll beat that Amos guy.
Well, if you want to play the races down there at the fairgrounds, Twin Spires is offering a sign-up bonus, as you can get that, earn that $200 match bonus. Download the Twin Spires app or visit twinspires.com. Sign up with the code GET200 to start that $200 new player bonus right now. And we will check in with Jonathan Kinchin. JK, what are your thoughts here on this 7th race? Is Half Glamorous that glamorous at 7-5?
Looks tough. Look, you can kind of draw a line. Well, you don't have to draw a line through it. You can look at the last race and try to evaluate it and get what you can from it. But if you don't like the performance and you're looking for a reason to lean on the 7-5, you can just skip and go down to the race prior to that. This horse was fast that day. The pace figures were quick, took control early as a lightly raced horse, only in the 2nd career start. Probably learned a lot from that last start. And I just feel like, this horse could be tough. The only problem with Half Glamorous is there's a lot of horses in here that have a similar style, and she could find herself in a position where she's got a couple of other horses looking her in the eye, and I'm not sure how much she's going to enjoy that. The previous race where she ran so well, she was clear early, and she took advantage of that position. So if they happen to kind of get hooked up, which I think is probably something that could probably happen, I would lean more to the 5 Tecate Time, who feels like one who will be finishing. Also, that one's been facing tougher, faced a $75,000 stake, $100,000 stake, and was 3rd in there and just kind of ran into some horses that were better. But this one could pick up the pieces if the pace happens to come back, which I think it could in this situation. So, if I had to make a choice, I would pick the 5 Tecate Time because there's a little bit more value here, but it's not a play against the 4 Half Glamorous.
Thank you for pronouncing that correctly. Tecate Time, JK. And, Andy was wondering what's going on with your shirt repertoire as of now.
He looks normal.
I
like that shirt.
Seasonal.
I like that shirt. You look very normal, Jonathan.
Well, look, so we've talked about this before. There's Saturday shirts and then there's Sunday shirts. You got to save the Saturday. I got a bunch of good ones. Wait till you see this leopard print one. I need a grade 1 for the leopard print shirt. I'm saving that one. So I just keep it cool on Sundays.
You're not really going to wear a leopard print shirt in the show, are you?
Oh,
you might want to do it in a day when I'm not on, Jonathan. I think that might be the best idea.
Well, JK.
And I'm actually going to bring it with me to Saratoga, and we're going to have a head-to-head, Andy, and if I beat you, you got to wear it.
I used to have a leopard print ottoman. I could brought that along. It's from my grandmother. It's kind of a running joke.
Okay. Well, JK, you have no worries for me because I don't wear animal print. Although there's giraffes all over my dress today. Anyway.
So you're lying, in other words.
Well, it's not
whatever.
Animal coat.
I don't disagree with Jonathan. And I think, as he said, the 5 Tecate Time is the likeliest one to take advantage because not only does Half Glamorous potentially, and I would agree, have speed inside with Rue La La, there's also potentially speed in the outside with Lil Ado, and the toughest spot for a horse to be in is between horses involved in a pace. Now, we're not saying it's going to happen, but it's potential.
Do you have any look to the second time starting, number 2, Clearly Sailing? I mean, she is not in the greatest spot. She goes from the outside to the inside. I just thought that she kind of was a bit green in that win and that there was a potential move forward from her.
I didn't watch her race, so I can't comment on that, and I obviously respect your opinion on that. But no, I don't like this horse at all. That was a very weak field. 5 furlongs of Delta Downs probably doesn't transfer as well to a race like this. And so, no, I don't listen. This horse is a price, and I respect your opinion, but no, I don't like Clear Sailing at all.
No, there's nothing really much to like on paper. I just thought, thinking about her kind of as one that needs to mature a bit, plus going out for some dangerous connections in Brett Calhoun and Adam Beschizza.
I think this is also an interesting race for the discussion about wet tracks and dry tracks, right? Because the 3 Rue La La ran competitively in the first 2 races and then sort of lousy on wet tracks, and one of them at a short price. Is a horse that getting back to a dry track, and that's probably why she's 2-1 today. The assumption is dry track. Now, it's not always the case. I think a lot of people sometimes use wet tracks as excuses.
Yes, I mean, you could look at it that way, and then as you were kind of alluding to, maybe she's just a horse that, well, A, went the wrong way, or B, was just a cranked-up 2-year-old ready to go before the rest of her competition.
Exactly. I mean, that seems like a real – and I think a lot of people just sort of go with that, and I'm not saying I'm not guilty of it myself, sometimes saying, oh, it was a wet track. Don't be careful, because the reality, and I think you'll probably agree, most horses handle the surfaces reasonably well. I mean, sometimes there's situations on wet tracks which don't help horses. But in general, horses, because I'll tell you what to me is proof of it. You'll see a horse that'll handle a wet track at Saratoga that may not run as well at Belmont. So is it really the wet track? What is it really going on? And I think that's an overblown angle, wet tracks, dry tracks, overall.
And two, I mean, look, this is a horse who those 2 races came at Louisiana Downs. As you kind of mentioned, there's different surfaces. There's a lot
racetracks,
of exactly. So
whereas Half Glamorous, all the races are at fairgrounds, so maybe they're sort of more reliable because at least it's the racetrack where this horse is running. And you know, I'm not nearly as familiar as you are, having spent so much time at fairgrounds. But does the form from Adelta Downs transfer to fairgrounds? Does the form from Louisiana Downs transfer to fairgrounds? I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm not familiar.
well, with these law-bred races, it kind of has to. I mean, that's the only thing you're kind of going on a lot of times, right? Because they're not generally going to run outside of the state of Louisiana, because it is a really good program for these Louisiana breds, as you can clearly see here. So we'll see. Half Glamorous, she could be the speed of the speed, and she could take them gate to wire here for Danny Pish, as we'll find out more about these Louisiana breds here in race number 7. Quickly.
You've got a good Louisiana bred.
We do. My favorite horse,
horses. Yeah.
91 Assault, as we throw it out to John Dooley with the call of race 7.
At 6 furlongs here in the breezy Big Easy. They're in the gate. The Rolfing sprinting to Conti Time was slow to go. Clearly Selling broke sharp. Clearly Selling going out to lead them for Adam Beschizza. It's Clearly Selling who gets the jump on Lil Ledoux. Half Glamorous with positional pace in 3rd. Nearest the inside is Rue La La, has the white cap. Half Glamorous now 4th on the outside after the first furlong and a half. And after breaking a step slow, Tecate Time trails the 3-year-old fillies quintet a half mile from home. Clearly Selling 3/4 length to Lil Ledoux. Rue La La, Half Glamorous 4th. 6 lengths away to Tecate Time, who trails the opening quarter in 22.84 seconds. They roll to 3 furlongs out, and it's Clearly Selling who leads 3/4 of a length. Lil Ledoux looking to match pace. Half Glamorous now strides up for James Graham. Rue La La against the rail. Tecate Time trails 7 lengths from leader to last, and Clearly Selling heads for home. Half mile in 47.15 seconds. It's Clearly Selling drifts. Clearly Selling. Half Glamorous now bears down. Tecate Time is charging on the far outside, and here she comes. 1 furlong to go. Tecate Time. Half Glamorous just led. Clearly Selling is back to 3rd. They're close to home. Half Glamorous. Here's Tecate Time. Tecate Time for Mitchell Morrill. Tecate Time. Last 2 first beat Half Glamorous by 3/4 of a length. Clearly Selling 3rd, then Lil Ledoux and Rue La La.
She did not make it easy on herself, but number 5, Tecate Time, rallied widest from last to pick them all up late.
This horse was just much the best. We'll show you the star of the race, and the 2 got a great break and really got a real advantage on these. And Tecate Time just doesn't come out of the gate. We don't see
I wonder
any.
if she kind of reared up, because it looked as though Mitchell Morrill kind of landed on her neck a little bit there, as we unfortunately don't have a head on.
And credit to him, he didn't panic.
Nope,
He didn't try to rush her. He just let her find her stride. And obviously helped by the fact that a horse just wasn't quite good enough in front. As far as Half Glamorous, she really had no excuse, but they rated her for the first time. And it's understandable with the break and the way the 2 went in front. But she didn't win rating, you know? She didn't have any zip rating because she's supposed to beat the 5. Because the race falls apart. The 5 got left. She has every advantage to beat the number 5 Tecate Time, but Half Glamorous, I just don't think she really ran that well rating, and she feels like a horse that I don't want to bet on unless she can clear the lead.
No, and she clearly didn't, as Clearly Selling just broke out of there like a shot from that inside post position. And yeah, she's supposed to win. How Tecate Time was so much the best here. She was the 3rd choice. She went off at 3-1 at post time here. Gets the victory for Steve Flint and Mitchell Morrill. I got to tell you, when it comes to Louisiana bred racing, Mitchell Morrill tends to win the bulk of them, and he had a very good year branching out from the Louisiana-Chicago circuit. Rode well at Churchill this past fall.
I have a ride. I bet him on a turf horse a few weeks ago. I'm still a little bitter about, but okay.
Ooh, okay.
You know me. I can hold.
You hold grudges better than the rest of them.
I don't hold grudges. You know that. I don't. I actually don't.
No, I know. Getting
a few good qualities.
Getting her picture taken there. Tecate Time. Gosh, it looks nice down there at the fairgrounds today.
Stop whining.
Anyway.
You're going to be there in like 2 weeks.
I know.
Week and a half.
I am so excited.
I've never been to New Orleans.
What? I don't know if you'd like it, to be honest.
No, I'd love to go. I will go.
The food.
Tom's always inviting me to come.
As you should. As we saw, well, once again, a lovely day in South Florida at Gulfstream Park as greatest honor. Certainly his coming out party, I think, Andy, here in the Holy Bull, as he showed some promise, but really took a massive step forward for Sugar McGahee yesterday.
Yes and no.
Okay. I don't think he beat much, though.
Right. I like this horse, as you know. I mean, I still can't believe he lost that maiden race to Todd's horse up here at a mile and 1/8.
Yeah.
Right. And I've always kind of liked this horse. The problem is I think people are getting a little carried away by this performance, and I'm not looking to knock him. He's a talented horse, and he has every right to take a step forward and be good, but he's still considerably slower than a lot of horses were as 2-year-olds that haven't run yet. And you can say, well, he's finding himself and he's getting better and he has the right trainer to get better. And I agree with all of that. But he needs to get better. His win is more a function of the fact that there was nobody behind him in this race. Because the only other horse on paper that looked like potential was the Todd Pletcher second-time starter that's finishing third. He didn't run at all in this race. He did not go on from his impressive maiden win, so he was really left with nothing behind him. I'm not trying to be critical. I'm trying to be realistic. And, you know, because it's Shug, and he's got that pedigree, and he's got that, zillion-dollar pedigree, and he wins big, people are getting all excited. He needs to get a lot faster. He may get there, but I still think he's a long shot to win the Derby.
I was watching the race with Tom, and he said, oh, wow, look at this. And yes, visually it was very impressive. And then I'm listening to the call and thinking about the horses in there, and there was just nobody else in there. He only ran an 89, too, for this victory yesterday.
A lot of Florida stake races depend on how strong Todd Pletcher's horses are. And right now, he doesn't have the strongest group in these races, so these races aren't quite that strong. I won't be surprised if he takes steps forward, but as of now, I'm a little circumspect about Greatest Honor. I think he could take a step forward and turn out to be a major player in 3-year-old races, whether it's the Triple Crown races or towards the Travers. But I still think even trainer Shug McGahee would say he's not there yet. He's getting better. He's improving. He's acting a little better in his races, but he still needs to get faster if he's going to beat the best horses in the biggest races.
Well, he is a son of Tappan. A lot of times they take a little while mentally to figure everything out. As the road to the Kentucky Derby, it certainly heats up now, as we will have 2 preps on our show next Saturday. We will have featured race, the Sam F. Davis from Tampa Bay Downs. Paul LaDuca will be down there in Oldsmar, Florida for us. And we will have the Withers here at Aqueduct, as we'll see Capo Kane return to defend that win in the Jerome. Waters always get deeper, as we're looking forward to that and looking forward to some more racing at Oaklawn Park here on today's edition of America's Day at the Races.
Climax Stallions is coming to New York with Mr. Monomoy. At 3, Mr. Monomoy dominated the Grade 2 Risen Star Stakes at Fairgrounds, going wire to wire.
Mr. Monomoy leads them home in the first division of the Risen Star Stakes.
He's also a half-brother to 2-time Breeders' Cup Distaff winner, Monomoy Girl. Mr. Monomoy, standing in New York at Waldorf Farm for $5,000. For more information, visit ClimaxStallions.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anytime, anywhere. Sign up today for your very own Naira Bets account. And live racing coming at you from Oaklawn Park, as we do have a few more races from them, the 7th and the 8th here on our show, as well as the 8th from the fairgrounds too. And check out a post parade here next for this Claiming 20 non-3 life, going the 6 furlongs. As always, if you're not a Naira Bets customer, make sure you sign up today to earn that $200 deposit match bonus. Number 1 kicks things off in here. That is Cabot for Ron Moquette.
Yeah, this horse has not run since November at Churchill, and I mean, drops a little bit. I didn't particularly like his chances. Last 2 races left a lot to be desired.
Is returning to his barn, and Ron had him before, and he did run best for Ron. Number 2, Hurricane Jake, a big long shot. As number 3, Blacktop Legend, a horse we're familiar with, Andy.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out where that 88 buyer came back a little over a year ago at Aqueduct. Can he refine that form for Robertino?
Moe's Mojo, turning back in distance.
Yeah, I thought he was very interesting as a turn back for Randy Morris. Doesn't have great numbers, but they're okay. I like Moe's Mojo a bit here.
Running protected for that waiver, claiming you can enter a horse without the tag up to if coming off a layoff of 60 days is major attraction.
Yeah, I worry about this horse sort of in Wayne Catalano's barn. Can he refine the once good form in another barn?
We saw Tumbling Sky, who's a legitimate player. Number 7 is Lullaby Bling, going by as a big long shot. Number 8, KW Captain Hook. What do you think about 17-1 on him?
Oh, a little interesting off the claim. The trainer's recent efforts off the claim have not been strong, and he'd need to improve.
Another layoff. 3-1 morning line, up to 10-1 on Something Super.
Yeah, this trainer won the first 2 races of the meet with horses cutting back from routes to sprints like Something Super is doing, worth noting.
Hoof Prince will go synthetic to dirt for Mike Maker.
He seems like a very logical horse for Mike Maker. He doesn't have great numbers synthetic to dirt, but this horse is really a dirt horse and just didn't belong on that surface.
Speaking of dirt, it's the first time Mr. Oakley will step foot on it.
Yeah, and I looked through. I didn't find any dirt pedigree at all to speak of.
No. As number 12 is Bouillon.
Yeah, I am loath to take horses, and this is a big price, but going out of Larry Jones's barn, he's a tough guy to get a trainer switch from.
And though we did see William Martin win the last race, off a trainer change and off a layoff, he's 0 for 20 the past 5 years. As we want to check in with Nancy Holthus, who is standing by at Oaklawn Park. Nancy, what do you have for us with this upcoming 7th race?
Well, guys, I got a chance to speak with owner Danny Caldwell. He campaigns the number 9, Something Super, with trainer Freddie Villafranco. This horse looked really good in the paddock, kind of broke away from post parade, and Ramon Vasquez is going to get a really good warm-up with this 4-year-old. Comes off just a little bit of a break after last racing against tougher first-level allowance company at Remington just a little over a month ago. Does exit a 4th win going 2 turns. Now, Danny says that 1 mile is typically ideal for this runner, but settled for 6 furlongs. They're not really riding a non-3 for 20 at the mile just yet here in the books. Now, hoping that the speed doesn't really hold like it has been thus far on the Sunday program, because he's really got that closing kick, and he's been victim of a couple troubled trips. So a easy, safe trip with no problems is really what this 4-year-old is going to need. And he's got a big overlay right now, 3-1 on the morning line, 10-1 currently. So you're getting a good price for a barn that has had a really good day thus far, and they're hoping to get their picture taken here in the 7th. Guys?
Nancy, thank you. And Freddie Villafranco has enjoyed a great opening to this Oaklawn card. I actually got in the winner's circle picture with this horse's dam. Something About Betty was a Maryland bred that Todd Pletcher trained, that he sent down to Timonium to run in a Maryland bred stakes once.
And you know what that means? Like the rest of us, you're getting old.
This is very true. Guy that never ages like a fine wine. JK, number 9, Something Super. You on him too?
No. I'm actually on. I'm just kidding. I am on the 9, Something Super. I don't know why I was thinking the name was different, but yes, I am, because I think this pace is going to be extremely fast. Tumbling Sky, the 6 horse in here, this horse is fast. And I know that you guys probably remember kind of a fall from grace. This horse was super impressive on debut at Saratoga a few years ago, and he just never really panned out. But this horse has speed. There's speed to the outside of him, to the inside of him. I think they're going to fly in here. Now, that is the most dangerous thing to say in racing. I think they're going to fly because then they crawl and you look like an idiot. But I think they're going to run, and I do think that the 9 Something Super will be able to pick them up on the cutback. But even that, just 2 back, his dirt race sprinting was good enough to win this race if that happens, if that materializes. I'm sure I just probably put a wire-to-wire winner in the circle, but I do feel like they're going to go fast up front.
Well, at Oaklawn, we do tend to see those projected paces materialize a lot more than they do, say, well, around here in New York.
I agree with you very much on that, Maggie. And I think the 9 is a very good overlay in this race. I don't think the horse should be that kind of price. I also agree with Jonathan. They usually they materialize the paces, but still, I still think the 10 can win. Is the speed of the speed.
What about Mo's Mojo? He's a horse that has speed going longer, but on the flip side, he's also shown speed going back to his first start off that long layoff back in July of this past year, going to 6.5 yet speed.
Yeah, no, I think he's a very dangerous horse. Now, I assume we're going back to Keeneland 2 races ago when he finished 3rd, and he didn't run badly in here as 84 buyer. I think the concern with him is he hasn't run since November, and he ran a lousy race last time at a short price. And now he comes back dropping precipitously in price. That's the concern for him, I think.
And is he a horse that can win from off the pace?
That's also always a concern. Now, you look, I don't have his maiden win here, so I don't know if he rated that day. He's also got 6 second-place finishes as well. But his 1 win showing the last 12 races, he wired the field. Do you have his maiden race in front of you, Maggie? Yeah, it has to be before. So it is a reasonable, something we talked about the last race. There's a different, people say, oh no, he rated. Unless they rate and win.
Yeah.
Horses will rate and finish second. That doesn't show that they can rate effectively. So there are some horses that they're good, but if they can't pass horses in the stretch or finish the deal if they don't have the lead.
Now, Tumbling Sky, JK brought up, has never been able to get back to that maiden score, which was a huge race and a huge effort.
Yes, he beat. Was that a Chad Brown horse? Believe? No, that was Jimmy Toner, I think. Right?
Nope, that was Jenna Antonucci.
Oh, I bet her. I had a tip.
Sold to Todd Pletcher for like $400,000.
It was 22-1. I had a tip on it, and I bet the horse. That's right. Now
well done, you. As Vic Stauffer has a call here of race number 7.
Tumbling Sky is ready. Here's Mr. Oakley. The last horse to load will be Bullion. They're off. Tumbling Sky wins the break, goes for the front from Bullion and Hoof Prince. Hurricane Jake is at the rail. These 4 are quickest, and Tumbling Sky leads. It's Tumbling Sky a length in front of Hurricane Jake, Hoof Prince, Mr. Oakley, and Bullion 4 deep. Then comes Blacktop Legend. In behind horses and about 4 from the front, Mo's Mojo just alongside him. Cabot has about 6 lengths to close. He's 2 in front of Lullaby Bling. Then Major Attraction. At the back of the pack are Something Super and KW Captain Hook. It is still Tumbling Sky. Mr. Oakley is now closer in second. Tumbling Sky by a neck. Mr. Oakley is second by 2 lengths, 2. At the rail and moving up, Hurricane Jake. Then Hoof Prince. He's dropped back a bit, passed by Cabot at the rail. Here's Cabot within 3.5 of the lead, and with forward momentum, Cabot's on the move. It is Tumbling Sky a length in front of Mr. Oakley. To the outside end, Lullaby Bling trying to spling an upset. Mo's Mojo and Cabot at the rail. Many chances, final 16th. Tumbling Sky in front. Lullaby Bling getting closer, so is Mo's Mojo. Tumbling Sky, Lullaby Bling, Tumbling Sky, Lullaby Bling, Tumbling Sky. Held off Lullaby Bling, Mo's Mojo and Cabot.
Well, are reminiscing about his Saratoga debut. Got him to the winner's circle here, getting his 3rd career victory for leading trainer Steve Asmussen, Tumbling Sky.
I felt like I was in Saratoga. There were 17 speeds in the race, and somebody went, and nobody else tried to go, and set a slow pace, was able to hold on. I had visions I was back in the spa, and he was aggressive, and it worked. And, it's, once again, with Mo's Mojo, he couldn't really rate effectively,
no,
right?
He can't.
He got there, and he just couldn't seal the deal because it worked out relatively well. I didn't think he had the best trips, and the 9, who Jonathan and I both liked, he ran okay to finish 5th, beating a few lengths, but the pace didn't heat up the way he and I had hoped it would.
And a huge performance for the runner-up effort, number 7, Lullaby Bling, who is a big, big price on the board. As JK, what were your thoughts here with Tumbling Sky?
Oh, as soon as the horse broke, I said I did put a wire-to-wire winner in the winner's circle. I mean, I think the one interesting handicap piece you can take from this is that you can always give horses that were brilliant at one point of their career just another little chance to maybe figure it out. Because what he did at Saratoga, would, you know, you fast forward to this point where he's running for a tag and, you know, you're like, oh, of course he's going to win the race. But it's hard to get to that point. But maybe just an extra little look when at one point they were really special. He showed himself today. He ran well.
Yeah, sometimes just need a little bit of a drop in class. Also, getting back to the dirt, did the job for Tumbling Sky. Jonathan, thank you, as he did run protected as well off the layoff unofficially. 6-7-4-1 at Oaklawn in their 7th race. Bob Bafferty's loaded once again to win another Kentucky Derby as he picked up his 9th win in the Robert B. Lewis yesterday with Medina Spirit. More on that race here on America's Day at the Races.
The winemakers in France call it terroir. It's about the soil, the water, the sun, and so much more. Outside of Paris, in Bourbon County, the hard boots refer to it as a darn good place to raise a darn nice horse. Hillendale's Alapa has been synonymous with quality for nearly 200 years. Among the prized colts that called this farm home were the French import Prince Palatine, who was responsible for the leading sire, Prince Quillo, who stood next door at Claiborne. His progeny included champions Round Table, Misty Morn, and Hill Prince. He was a 7-time leading broodmare sire, most notably of Something Royal, dam of the Great Secretariat. This land is our legacy. Its heritage is our inspiration. Quality is the focus, plain and simple. Welcome to Hill and Dale at Alapa.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, check out americasbestracing.net today. Riverboat all decorated for Mardi Gras. Well, unconventional Mardi Gras, obviously, this year. As over back at Oaklawn Park, Tumbling Sky gets a victory off the layoff for Steve Asmussen and paid a healthy $22 for that victory, where he's left alone on the lead. When that happens, well, usually a horse wins.
Good things happen when you're alone in the lead.
Lullaby Bling, 25 to 1. Nice exacta for $2 over 588. We'll have one more race coming up for you at Oaklawn Park. But for now, we'll check in with Fairgrounds. Their post parade for their 8th, Mount is 16th on the turf for the maiden special weight. Number 2, Slime Queen went by. Number 3, Sail on Ellen.
I'm interested in Slime Queen. We'll get to her a little bit later. Sail on Ellen's run figures that look good enough, but she's lost at short prices so many times.
Number 4, Chick Be Quick. She is that. She's likely speed.
She is quick, though. I'm still skeptical that she really wants to go this far.
Take Charge Patty, 13 tries so far for Paul McGee.
At times, she's run well enough to be competitive here, but like you say, a lot of chances.
Number 3 is Scent.
Tom Morley Special. This is the horse to beat. She's running against better horses, but at some point, Maggie, aren't we getting a little tired of her finding ways to lose?
Yeah, that killer instinct, just not theirs. Number 8, Simply Beguiled, is trying the turf for the first time.
Yeah, and a first foal from this dam who ran the turf once was a better dirt horse.
Number 9, It's Mine, also trying the turf for the first time, has some pedigree.
Yeah, this horse does have some pedigree, and you can never ignore Mike Baker in these spots. He's so dangerous. He's everywhere.
Yes, that's what happens
He and
when
Three
you have
Diamonds are like
400
everywhere,
horses
right.
plus. So
He doesn't have more than 300. I think that's very unfair.
Okay, then. As we'll check in with Jonathan Kitchen, who has your market mover. As always, if you want to play today's market mover, make sure you use your Twin Spires account to bet it, or any horse that you like in the race. Twin Spires is offering that $200 new player bonus. Use promo code GET200. Jonathan, number 3, Sail on Ellen is your market mover.
Sail on Ellen's the market mover. Like Andy mentioned earlier, you can take a little peek at the Will Pays in the double and in the pick 3, pick 4, whatever race you're looking into that's closing up. This horse is the favorite in those. So it's one of those situations like Andy mentioned. When you look at the board and you think you're getting 5 to 1, don't be surprised when this horse goes off favored. This horse will be, I would suspect, it's a pretty heavy favorite in the double, will be the favorite at post time. The problem is that the 3 main contenders in here are all 4 types, and that doesn't typically happen that often when you're looking at these turf races. It's usually a lot of horses that want to come from out of it. I felt like the 4, Chick Be Quick, was the speed of the speed, well named for this field. I just feel like she's the one that when they kind of are all looking at each other, I'm hoping that she's the one who has the most energy left because of the pace figures that she had last time were a little bit quicker than everything else that has been in here. So it's a tough situation when you have a turf race with 3 horses with similar styles, but give me the 4, Chick Be Quick, especially as the prices shift to the 3, Sail on Ellen, being the favorite.
Sail on Ellen will likely.
He's right. She's a heavy favorite in doubles.
All right, returning to the dirt, as she did best Scent last time and finishing second on the main track, as we will take a look at Scent on the racetrack. And Andy, I mean, she's getting back to the turf, which is her preferred surface.
Yeah, and it's not a New York bias. She's run better races in her turf races than any horse in here. If you're just going on base of their races, I just think she's the best horse in this race. Now, she did not run well when she ran that race back in December 10th. I think that has to be a concern. Forget about her dirt race. I don't care what she did last time. It's an off-the-turf race. Only judge her by her turf races. She's 6 to 5, and that was a subpar race for her. But a race in New York, understand, like that race, was it against 40 Zip? She probably should have won her second race. She was completely blocked in the stretch in that race, and she easily could have won. The next time out, she lost to a horse from Top Pleasure that ran off the screen, Apirate, and I think she's won back since then. And she didn't run badly at 1 mile and 3/8 the next time out either, even though she had the best of it. But I just think overall, she's kind of the horse to beat. I don't trust her, though, and I don't know what happened that day at Fairgrounds, Maggie.
Florent Giroux. I know I'm saying that about a leading rider over at Oaklawn, but I don't know why. I don't know if she just doesn't like it down there per se, or she didn't. I don't know. She did not get along with him in the way that he rode her, and I personally, we never have any luck with Florent. So I don't know. I don't trust her, Andy, because I just don't think she's talented. I also have a reason to believe that she might want to go a bit further than this, might be better going further than this, and she just lacks that killer instinct. As you're interested in number 2, Slime Queen, going back to the barn of Hugh Robertson. Blinkers on.
And, you see the 0 for 11 in 5 seconds, and the seconds are a concern, no doubt about it. but she's only run the turf 5 times. And her last race at Delaware, I think that race makes her a contender in here. I don't think she's that bad, and she wasn't that bad when she ran at Fairgrounds in the past. I don't love her, but I think at 6-1, she's competitive with these horses.
I mean, yeah, the worst she's ever run was 4th on the turf, going back to last year at the Fairgrounds. I think she definitely has a look, and at 6-1, as you said, she's worth every penny. But number 9, It's Mine, is kind of the wild card. Really well-bred filly, costs $410,000. Medaglia d'Oro daughter, as you were mentioning, the dam's a 2-time turf winner.
Yeah, I mean, it's a better dirt pedigree. I think you would agree. It's a stronger pedigree for dirt, but this horse does have the pedigree to handle the turf, and I don't think it's impossible. And, you know, listen, Mike Maker just seems like one of the most dangerous trainers out there. His horses run, and, boy, he's everywhere.
Did you look up stats, though, for this type of move, first-time turf?
Not.
And route distance with non-first-time starters and maiden special weights?
I didn't. It does feel a little bit like a desperation move, right? Obviously,
he's 6 for 54.
Yeah, they probably they're like this horse, you know. I think, you know, a lot of times. Now, he's only had this horse 2 starts. I'm assuming they bought this horse privately from Steve Asmussen before the race at Turf.
Or they 3 Diamonds buys a lot of horses. The horses in training sales.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There you go. Not
horses
privately.
Racing
right.
age, I should say. Which I can look up.
I was going to say, you know, I texted with Kurt Wyckoff from 3 Diamonds earlier. I had a question about a random question with him, and he didn't mention this horse. But then again, he's probably got 47 horses running around the country today, so I don't think he was going to give me the spreadsheet. It's not like I'm really I wasn't looking for betting advice. I was asking a random question.
Yeah, they have a ton of horses, don't they? And Mike Maker, I mean, as you were saying, he just has horses all over the place.
Yeah, no, and Kirk and his son Jordan listen, the game needs people like that. I mean, they've
had this horse since it was a yearling.
Oh, okay. I never realized they had a horse with Steve Asmussen.
Neither did I.
Live and learn.
That you do. It's John Dooley. Well, he knows a lot about racing there at Fairgrounds, as he does have the call. So we do see horses making their way into the gate.
You know John's local, right? I think he's from Staten Island.
Yes, yeah. He started working here in the press office, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was calling the races in the winter back in the 90s when I was here.
Well, he loves it down there at the Fairgrounds. As he has the call here of race number 8.
And they're off. Now there's Chick Be Quick, who strikes out. Sent between horses. Take Charge Patty as they come past us now. Being led by Chick Be Quick for Brian Hernandez Jr. is Chick Be Quick. Sent with an early bid. And right there is Take Charge Patty running in 3rd. Simply Beguiled has the purple cap with toward the inside. Sell on Ellen in 5th out to the stretch. We trail back to It's Mine, and Slime Queen has drifted back to last. 6 furlongs from home, and at the inside, it's Chick Be Quick doing the early work. Chick Be Quick in front here, Sent by just about a length at the 5.5. Take Charge Patty taking a hold toward the inside. Simply Beguiled with Sell on Ellen running in 5th. Then a brink back there to It's Mine, and Slime Queen remains last. The opening quarter in 24.02 seconds. As these maiden fillies go up the back and the black and green hoops, it's Chick Be Quick who leads Sent, who's right there, close up for Schomburg Mahan. Take Charge Patty, Simply Beguiled in 4th, just inside 4 furlongs to go. Sell on Ellen is 5 from the front. Single file to the far turn. It's Mine, and Slime Queen remains last. Half mile in 50.10 seconds. So Sent now puts this move on Chick Be Quick. It's Chick Be Quick narrowly in front. Sent looms. Right there, Take Charge Patty with in between horses. Sell on Ellen, who's held up. Simply Beguiled, It's Mine, and Slime Queen looks to gear up on the far outside. They've straightened after 3/4 in 1 minute 15.91 seconds. Chick Be Quick holding on to this lead. Chick Be Quick, 1 furlong away from a battling Sent. Take Charge Patty is bearing down with Slime Queen charging on the far outside. They come inside the final half furlong with Marcelino Pedroza. Slime Queen in her 12th run has come from last to first to grab Take Charge Patty. Sent 3rd, and Chick Be Quick finished 4th.
Slime Queen from well back. Well done, Andy, as she gets the victory here. It's taken her a while, but you know what? It's only their 6th turf start.
The blind squirrel occasionally finds the acorn, and that's a good point. We talked about that. Be careful with these horses. There are a lot of offers. Look only at the distance, and this horse really made a run and a confident ride. They weren't moving that fast up front, and she just ran them down. And Maggie, I don't blame Tom with Scent. I think Scent is a horse that she just doesn't have a finish to her, right? And the other thing about her is, and I think you'll agree, when you're in races that you're supposed to win, you've got to win. Because especially if you're not, the difference between the best horses is as they get lower level, they don't hold their form for that long. And she just hasn't held her form.
No, I think she needs to run 1.5 miles and be put on the front end.
Yeah.
And that's her only really chance of winning a maiden special weight. But Slime Queen, granted, was her 12th start, and she does get the victory here for Hugh Robertson and Marcelina Pedroza, as we will have more live racing action from Oaklawn Park, and we'll also check in with the Robert Lewis winner as well, Medina Spirit, on America's Day at the Races.
Carricanti, a leading sire amongst his crop by percentage of stakes horses. Carricanti is off to a strong start at stud. Top runners include graded stakes winners Kenzai Warrior and Sol Volante, plus 2-year-old stakes winner Spanish Love Affair and dual surface dynamo Princess Grace.
To Princess Grace.
A rising star with graded stakes winners on both dirt and turf. Carricanti, standing at Gainesway.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races here on Fox Sports 2. Maggie Wolfendale, Andy Serling, Jonathan Kinchin here with you as Slime Queen breaks her maiden in her 12th career start. 12:44 the win. Take Charge Patty, 19-1 over Scent at 2-1.
Yeah, Takes Charge Patty really improved at a big price to get second. Got a nice ride and a nice trip, but a big run. Yeah, by the way, it is as dark as it looks.
Yeah, looks like we're in outer space in our spaceship.
Well, we are in outer space, Maggie. I meant to tell
Always. Is the Robert Lewis. It was another step to the first Saturday in May, at least by way of California. Bob Baffert loaded for bear. Andy, we saw Medina Spirit hustled. to the lead and got the job done, earning a 91 fire speed figure with Abel Cedillo in the irons.
Right. When people see the actual times, they realize how irrelevant they are. What matters is the relative times. And this is such an effort and contrast to the horse that ran in Florida, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking, but the other horse got a very good trip, a nice pace collapse, sort of ran around the field. This horse did all of the dirty work, dueled with 2 horses that finished a city block behind. The horse that ran second, third had perfect trips and no excuse not to get by Medina Spirit. Medina Spirit could have run third in this race, Maggie, and beaten 3 lengths. And I think you and I would be sitting here saying, well, the horse that ran 1, 2 ran okay, but the third horse is the one I want in this race. Instead, he still held him off. And I mean, if you want to see battle-tested horses as you're going towards the Derby, you want to see a horse like this. This guy is game.
With this victory, how much does it make Life is Good look better?
I agree, because Life is Good beat him. It has to flatter him. There's no question about it. And, you know, Bob Baffert is always in the midst of these 3-year-old years. And, you know, you think about in the years past when Wayne Lucas was so dominant and Nick Zito had horses. Bob Baffert's always so involved. And I don't know how you aren't really impressed by Medina Spirit's race yesterday.
Jonathan, were you impressed by Medina Spirit's effort yesterday? But as we look at that, none of the horses that have won the Robert Lewis have gone on to win a Triple Crown race, though there have been some nice horses that have won it.
Absolutely, and I was very impressed. And like the two of you, and we watch a lot of races, and about 7 times in the stretch, I said they're going to run by Medina Spirit. They're going to run by Medina Spirit. They're going to run by, and they never did. And so when that happens, I'm always impressed. I do think it's an interesting stat that he's never gone on to win a Triple Crown race with a horse that he won the Robert Lewis with, but I also think that he's more of kind of a San Felipe man. I think he kind of starts to kind of gear up a little bit closer to the Derby. If you look at the San Felipe, the type of horses that he's had in there, he had Authentic, McKenzie, Mastery, Dortmund, More Spirit, Flashback, Bodemeister, Point Given, Pioneer of the Nile, Real Quiet, Silver Charm, not Real Quiet, excuse me, Silver Charm. And there's like 7 of those are stallions. So I feel like he kind of points to a little bit later on in the year, and I wouldn't look too deep into it. Medina Spirit showed some heart yesterday. And if that horse continues to train forwardly, I wouldn't say that he doesn't have a chance to win the Kentucky Derby based on that stat.
All right. Well, JK, thank you so much. As Life is Good will be pointing to that San Felipe, and he is the horse, the 3-year-old that has run fastest so far this year.
Right, he has that triple-digit buyer win, I think a 101 last time out, and the Bob Baffert 3-year-olds are always going to get a lot of attention, and rightfully so. You don't win as many derbies and big races. Where's he won 6 derbies now, I believe?
Is that right?
It's crazy.
I think so,
you know,
yeah.
It's amazing when you think about it, right? Because he lost with Cavanier by a nose the first time he was in the Derby, and you have to think if you're Bob Baffert, 1996, he lost that editor's note. An improbable winner, to say the least. I'm sorry, he lost to Grindstone, who was an entry with editor's note, excuse me.
Yeah, who was the improbable?
And, you know, if you're Bob, you're thinking, well, I'll never get back there. Well, he's gotten back there in a big way.
Does it bother you that Medina Spirit was getting to Life is Good in that race and looked as though Life is Good was leaning out a bit?
Yeah, I think you have to wonder how far ultimately he's going to want to go. But we all wondered how far Authentic's going to want to go. He's got the right trainer. It doesn't mean he's going to get there. You know, there's a long, long way to go. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are looking for their Derby horse. I don't understand that mentality. I think you want to glean as much as you can from every single prep that's run and keep an open mind. Don't fall. You know, you can say, I've got some favorite I like, but keep an open mind and see how these horses progress, because horses will drop back and horses will move forward.
Allowance race on tap at Oaklawn for their late double. As we see a prohibitive favorite, we saw Malibu Marley go by, but that is your favorite Jilted Bride.
Is she really supposed to be this big a favorite over the 4 Tonal Vision? But I guess she's the horse to beat, though, stretching out off her last race.
I think class with number 3, Shackadelic, coming up next. A little
I like the name better than her PPs.
She's got a little hump in her back there, feeling fresh on the racetrack. For trainer Doug Anderson, as number 4, Tonal Vision, as you alluded to, is the biggest threat to your favorite.
No, I agree. And she's not the likeliest winner, but I don't think it's supposed to be 2-5 and 7-2. She's got some merits. You look skeptical?
I guess. I don't know. I just thought class-wise. But number 5, Auction Fever. A bit of an overlay at 12-1.
Is coming off the claim. The trainer does not have great numbers off the claim, though. I was looking them up. They're not strong.
as Glamour Girl. She's the Florida bred, off a little bit of a layoff. Did not run well for the non-2 for 50 last time.
No, she's got some sporadic figures that give her a chance. She's obviously run a lot of races, but I don't like her coming off that poor effort at 6-5.
Yeah, 2 poor efforts, too.
Yeah, I think I do think that Jilted Bride is the horse to beat. I'm not disputing that, but I don't think there's as big a gap. And I think it was interesting about Tonal Vision. This was a shrewd claim, right? Claimed this horse out of a turf race and has really improved since claiming this horse, right?
Yeah, you would think that he would go back to the turf, but she has run well for him, and comes off a little bit of a freshening. But 1-2 currently on number 2, Jilted Bride, as we bring in Nancy Holthus. And Nancy, do you like Jilted Bride in this spot?
You know what I do? We kind of got caught last race sending out a 10-1 Steve Asmussen, which does not happen very often, but he does send out the favorite here in Jilted Bride. She came up with some of the toughest 3-year-olds in the country last year, eventual Grade 2 winner Bonnie South and eventual Kentucky Oaks winner, and She Dares the Devil. After a break during the summer and returning in the fall, she really did get a chance to mature and grow into herself. She did return at Churchill to face some very nice allowance runners, ran second to a much more experienced runner sprinting. I like that they bring her off just that little minor break between Churchill and Oaklawn, stretch her out to where she is very familiar. She's super consistent in the money, all 7 career starts. She looks fantastic, as all Asmussen runners do. She's very petite in stature, so I anticipate her nicely coming from off the pace as she is known to do. So with that nice break off, second off of the layoff, I definitely think that Asmussen, who is known for sending out favorites, is going to be able to get the job done with Jilted Bride in her 4-year-old debut. Guys?
Nancy, thank you. And yeah, Andy, as Nancy was kind of alluding to, it does feel as though that 6.5 race kind of just setting her up off that extended layoff to get back out to this 2-turn racing.
No, that makes perfect sense. It's very logical, and she's good. Let me ask you a question, though. She's got 7 starts and a win and 6 seconds and thirds, and she's lost at 2-1. She's lost at 7-2. She's lost at 6-5. She's lost at 2-1. You're talking about a horse of very short price. You don't look at horses that are short price and say, this is why I like them. The merits are obvious. The question is, why would you want to be skeptical? And we'll see if Jonathan's skeptical.
Jonathan, are you skeptical of Jilted Bride, or is she just much the best here?
I can't warm Andy up in the skepticism category, but I am in this race as well. Look, I get it. Jilted Bride, 2-5, the likely winner of this race. But I will say it's an interesting field. 6 horses, and every single one of them is coming in off a 65-day break or more. To me, that screams chaos. A horse either is going to overperform what they might have done on paper, they're going to underperform what they might have done on paper. And I'm looking for trainers or horses that have run well fresh. And there wasn't a lot of them that have run well fresh, but towards the outside, the 4, 5, and the 6 all have trainers that are about 19 to 22% in their careers with horses that are coming in off of breaks. And so for me, I thought the 4, Mike Maker, I trust Mike Maker. If you're looking for a horse to try to beat the 2, Jilted Bride, the 4, Tonal Vision, or you can just single Jilted Bride in a double or something into the next race. But this is a hard race because there's so many horses that are coming in here fresh. You don't have a lot to work with.
Yeah, I think that, as JK pointed out, it certainly is an intangible that it's hard to predict what's going to happen. I mean, there are horses who can kind of really step up and run well, as we've seen on this card with horses coming off long layoffs. Andy, I think, pretty much all the races that we've seen from Oaklawn with you and I, all the horses that have won have come off long layoffs.
No, I think it's a great point. It's a variable that you just don't really know. I mean, that's one of the reasons we look at trainer stats. You want to look at the history. There's some trainers and that don't do great. Now, Steve Asmussen doesn't have great numbers off long layoffs. 2 months, not that significant a layoff. I mean, these days, it used to be a horse like this coming off a 2.5-month layoff. Be like, where's it been? These days, they come, 6 weeks is sort of normal for a lot of horses, 6 weeks to 8 weeks. So I don't think it's significant. And the other thing to remember with these horses, in all likelihood, the Churchill meet ended basically when both these horses ran, right? Yep. They both ran 27th. It was like 2 days or a day before the end of the meet. So a lot of them are thinking, if you don't want to run synthetic and you're in Kentucky, why don't we wait for Oaklawn where the purses are great And so I think you're going to see a lot of times, Oaklawn in a lot of ways is similar to how Saratoga's been in past years. People wait for that meet. They want to win at Oaklawn. So you'll see those layoffs like this for a couple months.
Yeah, I don't think there is any reason for concern with any of these horses with this layoff, because I think it's a safe assumption that none of them have really missed any training. They obviously, too, you want to go straight from Churchill to Oaklawn once they open up training, because you don't want to make your clients have to pay another van bill. You know what I mean? It's all about economics at the end of the day if you know these horses are going to Arkansas.
The other thing is they have conditions, and so people understand with conditions, this is a non-winners of a race are the maiden, claiming, or starter. So if you win that condition, you're not eligible for it anymore. And if they went somewhere else, they're like, this person's $84,000. $84,000. That's over $50,000 the winner. Chances are they'll be lucky to be running for half of that out of town.
Oh,
so
yeah.
why would you want to run and blow your condition? You're better off running out of town and running second than you are winning and getting here and even running second here. I mean, second money here is almost $17,000. That's close to the win purse at a lot of racetracks for this condition. So there's a real value. They're waiting for Oaklawn, not because of, people love Oaklawn. They like the prestige. They want to win at Oaklawn, but the money matters.
Yeah.
I mean, you win this race, you've paid your bills for the year.
Yeah. Exactly. We'll see if Jilted Bride at 3 to 5 is going to pay her bills for the rest of the year. I mean, I just thought that last time She Can't Sing, she wired the field. She was the favorite, and Jilted Bride was just second best. And now she's getting back to 2 turns where arguably her faster races have come. It could be just with age that she's running faster too, but I don't know.
6 seconds and thirds in a short. She's the worst to beat. I'm not denying it. I would bet the 4 in this race at a much better price.
All right, Tonal Vision for Mike Maker. She is coming off of an effort in a starter allowance to throw it to Vic Stauffer with the call of Oaklawn's 8th.
They're at the post. They're off. Tonal Vision actually broke on top, but then bobbled and is now second to last. Shakadelic to the front, and she sprints clear from Glamour Girl, a recovering Tonal Vision, and a Jilted Bride at the rail. Then comes Malibu Marley, and the early trailer is Auction Fever. To the backstretch they run, and Shakadelic and Walter De La Cruz going for the hat trick. He's got Shakadelic a length and a half in front of Glamour Girl in a second. Jilted Bride is third at the rail with Tonal Vision just outside of her. Then further out is Malibu Marley, black cap and about 3.5 lengths off the lead, and the trailer is Auction Fever, and here's Glamour Girl to make her run for the front outside of Shakadelic. Shakadelic has lost the lead to Glamour Girl, who puts her neck in front. Could be more than that when they get to the half-mile pole, and it is. Glamour Girl with an aggressive move now going into the far turn, and she's opened up a 3-length lead. Shakadelic is gone. Between horses, Tonal Vision, Jilted Bride at the rail, and Malibu Marley to the outside. Auction Fever continues to trail, and the leader is Glamour Girl, 3 furlongs from the money. She's got a 2.5-length lead now, but now Jilted Bride begins to come after her. Ricardo just looked back. That makes you think he thinks he's got Glamour Girl. We'll see if he's right. Top of the stretch. So Glamour Girl is the leader, 3/4 of a length to Jilted Bride, who comes alongside, and Jilted Bride has put herself in front, 2 lengths. Glamour Girl is back into second. Then Shakadelic, Tonal Vision, and to the outside Malibu Marley, but it's Jilted Bride a 16th out, and she's well in front. Glamour Girl trying to hold second over Shakadelic. It is Jilted Bride in front. Jilted Bride won by a length and a quarter. Glamour Girl was second. Auction Fever third. Tonal Vision fourth.
Well, you cannot deny that Kelsey Haar is not aggressive as she again tried to blow a race open.
I like it.
I like it. This horse ran second. The horse that was on the lead finished last.
So all her big early moves ran well, but getting to the favorite, Jilted Bride, she did what she had to do. She was the favorite. She got a very nice ride and trip from Ricardo Santana, who saved ground behind horses. He slipped her out and just did everything right, and she got the job done. I don't know if this is winning like a 2 to 5 shot should, but she got the job done, and she was the best horse in here. But, the 4, Tonal Vision, Vic noted at the start she kind of broke, but then she dropped back and she made a move and she dropped back on a turn.
Did that move like 4 times.
She ran like there was something
up,
weird
back,
going
up,
on.
Back,
right.
up, back. Like she was having trouble breathing. She was displacing something. I don't know.
It was
strange effort from her. But no denying your winner. That was Jilted Bride for Steve Asmussen, Ricardo Santana teaming up once again, as this is same old song and dance. But we have a new member of the America's Day at the Races team here. That is Greg Wolf's son, who he welcomed into the world with his partner, Laura. William Grayson Wolf, 23 inches. I had said to him, Greg, he is so long. But he was born this Friday at nearly 6 o'clock, 7 pounds, 1 ounce. A little bit early, but very healthy, and mom and baby are doing just fine. So Greg, when he comes back to the show on Saturday, he might need to borrow some of my makeup, little concealer under the eyes, Andy. You don't sleep much.
I'm not getting involved in that conversation, but congratulations, of course, to Greg. And yeah, he sent me that picture the other night. I think I was about 9 and I was 23 inches.
I don't know if you've ever seen 23 inches, but anyway, we do want to congratulate Greg and Laura for the birth of William. Congratulations, guys, as we do have one more race from the fairgrounds coming up. State bred, $5,000 claimer, 6 furlongs on the main track. Full field of 10. Number 1, Cajun Chaos. This is number 2, Greeley's Banker.
I know this was the speed of the speed, and I like Greeley's Banker's chances here.
Spring Value goes out for Shane Wilson, who does have a lot of Louisiana breds in his barn.
Yeah, I prefer others in here. Looked a little bit over the head and has no speed at all.
Coming off the back of a win, graduating out of that non-3 company is number 4, Outlaw X.
Tough to go to the non-3 of the open maiden, the open claiming races, but this horse's race last time was good enough and has positional speed.
Has picked up some checks. Number 5, Booth Road Shine, in his last 2 at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, I thought was a little bit slower as some others, but not that far out of it. Another horse with positional speed.
The law bred named Philly, number 6.
Yeah, and Philly's supposed to be stalking the number 2, has some early speed. We'll see.
State Treasurer is run with a bunch of these, beaten favorite last time. Bad effort.
I do not agree with the chart comment taken up after breaking the stack slowly. I don't know if you watched, but this horse did not have trouble at all at the start. Just was rated. Had a little trouble late in the race.
Confederate Yell is number 9 in here.
That's Pure Valor's number 9. Confederate Yell's the 8, Maggie.
Oh, whoa,
I just
sorry.
don't want to confuse the people at home.
Sorry, no, there's number 10. 1, Holy Lion.
Of the 3, Pure Valor looked like the livest one of those 3 to me. The public agrees.
Coming out of a tougher race, but there is number 2 on your screen. 5-2 currently on number 2. Greeley's Banker, Jose Cameo, does send out this one. Jose Cameo won our honorable miss with a Louisiana bred by Star Guitar
a few years ago.
2018.
Yeah. What was the name of that horse?
Name completely escaping me at the moment.
Yeah, that's right.
Minute to
Stardom. Minute to Stardom.
Yeah, right?
M-I-N-I-T.
Yeah, exactly.
M-I-N-I-T to Stardom. Very good. Wow.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow, that's some call. Love those Star Guitars.
So
I just thought Greeley's Banker, I think, because it's supposed to send this horse to the front and try to wire the field, I think makes a lot of sense in here. I didn't have a huge opinion. This is a tough race. My opinion is the 7's going to get bet on perceived trouble that I don't believe occurred. Now, the one thing I'll say about State Treasure, the 7, 10 for 38. The 12 seconds or third. This is a horse that gets the job done. And I will say she had trouble in the stretch last time.
As always, if you want to play the races down at Fairgrounds, make sure you do so with your Twin Spires account. They do have that new member bonus, new player bonus, as you can use your Twin Spires app or visit twinspires.com. Use the code GET200 to start your $200 new player bonus right now. That's promo code GET200. So do you see horses making their way to the gate for this 6 furlong contest? And as I said 2 races ago with the Louisiana breds, I always give a little tiny look to whatever Mitchell Murrell's riding. I don't know why. It just seems as though every time I tune in, he's winning a law-bred race. And I know Spring Value looks desperate on paper, but I don't know. Maybe could get a piece of, if he gets back to his race 2 back, where he was a narrowly defeated 3rd.
I'll believe your theory if this horse wins.
Well, he just, you like Booth Road Shine, don't you? Didn't you say that?
No,
I'm sorry.
I like the 2, the favorite. I don't have any smart.
Greeley's
Banker. I guess, yeah, that's what I like.
All right, Greeley's Banker.
That's
Adam
all I got.
Beschizza in
2
the
and 9.
irons.
I think the 9 Pure Valor is a live long shot. Is he not a long shot, but a better, slightly better price? How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my better price play.
Yeah, I think dropping back into a level where he's been competitive, going 3 and 4 starts back. John G. Dooley, the Staten Island native, will be coming up next with the call of the nightcap at the fairgrounds.
Stand by for a start. At 6 furlongs. One more. Carlos Marquez with One Holy Lion. Wednesday post time, 1 o'clock Central. Last of the day, they're in the gate. And they're off. Philly broke sharp. State Treasurer, Greeley's Banker with an early bid toward the inside to Just Lean Philly after 1 furlong, and Outlaw X with the white blinkers also part of the pursuit. Cajun Chaos comes through from the rail. State Treasurer running a wide 5th. Booth Road Shine 6th and held up. At long odds, One Holy Lion is posted wide. Looking to gain toward the inside is Spring Value with Confederate Yell between horses. Pure Value is wide and trails the claiming sprint here in the Sunday finale. Close-knit pack, quarter 22.90 seconds. They enter the far turn, 3 furlongs from home. And Philly has forged in front to Greeley's Banker at the 2.5. State Treasurer is running in 3rd. Cajun Chaos, Outlaw X with in between horses. Spring Value, One Holy Lion. Pure Value, Confederate Yell, and Booth Road Shine is last into the stretch. Half mile in 46.40 seconds. It's Philly. State Treasurer charging hard. Toward the inside, Greeley's Banker, 1 furlong out. And here's State Treasurer, who's nosed in front of Philly. Between horses, Spring Value with on the outside Outlaw X, but coming past the 16th with Colby Hernandez. State Treasurer pulls clear close to home. State Treasurer on top. Philly was 2nd. Spring Value edged out Outlaw X for 3rd. Pure Value is next.
Carl Broberg winning a race here at the Big A, as well as down at in the Big Easy as State Treasurer takes the nightcap with Colby Hernandez in the irons. Congratulations to the Connections as your favorite in here, number 2. Greeley's Banker could not get the job done on the front end, but that will do it for our time here on America's Day at the races. The next show that we have on tap is Saturday, and we'll have some action as far as the road to the Kentucky Derby here at the Big A, including the Withers, and then coverage from the Tampa Bay Downs, Sam F. Davis.
That's right. Looking forward to those races. Looking forward to all the races here. We just have to worry. Get a little snow here tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah, luckily we're not racing, so plenty of time to clear out the snow for racing back here at the Big A on Thursday, as we will be on Saturday, February 6th from 2 to 6:30. Some great performances today in the Jimmy Winkfield Hello Hot Rod. Looking good for trainer Brittany Russell. Trevor McCarthy taking that, as well as great racing today from the fairgrounds and the Oaklawn Park. Thank you for joining us here on America's Day at the Races. We'll be on FS2 next Saturday, 2 to 6:30.
Eclipse champion Run Happy, a 3-time Grade 1 winner, record setter, and undefeated in sprint competition. Run Happy's first foals have hit the track. His juvenile winners include Run Snappy at Santa Anita, She's Happy at Keeneland, and this impressive performance from Runway Magic at Churchill.
Yeah. Runway Magic wins by 3.
Eclipse champion Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It only takes 20 cents to take down an Empire. The Empire 6 is the 20-cent minimum bet with a 100% net pool payout every day at Aqueduct. The Sequence is the last 6 races on the card with a 20% takeout each day at Aqueduct. Win big with 20 cents on the Empire 6. For details on the Empire 6, visit nyra.com/Empire 6.